I'm sorry, am I Chevy Chase in the 1980 movie Caddyshack? No, I'm Dan in the 2018 movie My Life.
Yeah.
Hello.
If you remember on the last episode, I said that I have a great story that people will love.
Tell it to me.
Oh, I thought you were going to be like, I don't remember.
I do not care.
So, as I was saying before, I've played this temple before on a stream for people to see how angry I get years ago when I was recording footage for Sequelitis.
Yes.
And Chris O'Neill was there, Oni NG. And we were hanging out and blah, blah, blah. And that was actually, I would say, the first, like, attempt at, like, a Game Grumps format. Because I had this idea... Because I put my P.O. box out there, you know, and people were starting to send me games.
Right.
And I was like, oh, wouldn't it be cool if I did a show where I sort of, like, went through those games? And I called it Mailbag Gaming.
Okay.
And the first trial episode I did was with Chris. So the first episode of Mailbag, I think it was Mega Man X7.
Wow.
And it was horrible.
What was bad about it?
It just, you know, it was like...
Didn't go
Neither
anywhere.
of us had ever done that before, and like...
It is its own weird type of performance.
Yeah. So you get... I mean, to be fair, like, the first episode of Game Grumps wasn't very good either.
Is that right?
Yeah.
The Kirby one?
Yeah. I mean, it's just... It's so frantic and, like... Even the first episode with you was, like...
Yeah.
Really frantic and, like...
Well, that...
You know,
yeah.
It's like you have good memories of it, because it was like, oh, I was hanging out with my friend Dan. But
no, I remember it as... God, I can't remember if I ever talked about this on the show or not. Maybe I did. But, like... When I look back at those early episodes, the Punch-Outs and the Super Mario 2, I can hear in my voice, like,
the
how...
nerves.
Yeah, just how badly I wanted to do a good job, you know? Because, like, because John is such a good performer and, like, a tough act to follow, and, like, because I didn't want to blow it for you and Barry and Susie, and, like, suddenly you guys are out of jobs because I sucked, you know? So, like, it was super...
Plus, I like... I mean, the pressure was on. I remember I told you, I was like, you're probably going to be hated.
Oh, yeah. There was no... But that's the thing, because, like, I did those Mondo episodes. Like, I was a spokesman for a cartoon company called Mondo, and nothing against Mondo. They're a good company, but, like, they had this idea at one point to do like 60 pilots for a video, or rather for their channel. Whereas, like, what works on the internet is kind of the opposite. Like, you have dick figures and you have happy tree friends, and, like, just roll with those. Like, the ones that work are what people want to see, and just keep giving them what they want, you know? But they were like, let's parlay this into, like, 100 new shows and then just throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. But they needed someone to, like, put that messaging out there. So they asked me to do it. And I was very sick at the time, and I needed, like, money for, like, medical bills.
Money?
Yeah. Well, drug money.
It,
yeah,
right?
in a sense, yeah. Pharmaceutical drugs. And so I took the job, and I was also very happy to take it because it you know, it allowed me to come to LA, which is something I needed to do to try to make Ninja Sex Party happen, and it directly led to Game Grumps. But, like, all of this is, like, a long-winded way of saying, like, it was an idea that didn't exactly work well with the fans. It was hard to get across, and also, like, it's a cartoon network that suddenly had, like, this guy on it that nobody knew, doing live action stuff, trying to, like, get across what these shows are. So it's a very tough position to be in, and I just became, like, very, very disliked on that channel. And it got a little bit better as time went on, but, like, still, it was an uphill climb. But it kind of, like, oh, the big key, you did it.
Yeah.
But it kind of got me used to how it feels to be hated on the internet.
Oh.
You know? Because Ninja Sex Party, like... Ninja Sex Party was, like, kind of liked off the bat, you know? But it also had a very small fan base. So it was like, bless you. It was like...
It wasn't rubbing up against anything. It was just something new.
Right. It was its own thing. It wasn't, like, something already established that suddenly I was just there, you know? So when you asked me to join Game Grumps, I was already used to it, you know? I was like, well, here's something that's already established, and now I'll just be there, and people are going to be like, what the fuck, you know? And that certainly did happen, but like it also, I'm also glad in retrospect that it all worked out the way it did, because even though it was a much bigger scale than the Mondo thing, I knew that, you know, the hatred passes and the people that, like, it is what it is. Like, it, you know, I have nothing to do with, you know, John and his decisions and all that. And so it was just like, all right, this is what it is. And if they hate me, they hate me. And those people that can't deal with it will move on. And maybe new people will come in and all that. So it was just this, it was a very strange time in all of our lives, you know? And it was. I think it reflects in those episodes early on. I think I really started to get comfortable like a month or two in. I think, to me, the like, oh, this is good was Mario 2. Yeah, that was early. That was early. Yeah. And also, oh, Volvagia! I love Volvagia, dude. Oh, me too. Finally. I love getting all up on Volvagia. Yeah, get it all up in Volvagia. Hammering Volvagia. Yeah. And I started to feel better about it too. I can't remember which episode it was, but Jackal. No. I think it was one of the... Shit, I don't remember. But it was one of the fairly early episodes, and John texted me, and I think it was Mario 3. Might have been. I remember that. Yeah. And he and I have texted a couple of times about stuff like this to discuss the show and things, and he was just like, I can't think of a better person to carry the torch and everything like that. And he was like, you totally have my blessing, and I really fucking appreciated that, and I thought that was awesome of him to do, and that helped me calm down a little bit too, because, like, you know, if you respect what I'm bringing to the show, and John respects what I'm bringing to the show, and my mom and dad like me, then really what, you know, everything's okay. Everything's okay. And now, like, my relationship with the fans is fucking fantastic. And it just... Owned it. Yeah. Well, because, like, we're ourselves on these shows, you know? Like, we're not... I mean, it's a quote-unquote performance, but it's like... It's not like I'm like, hey! You know, like, that kind of shit. Like, it's... So, if... It's like you were saying the other day when we were talking about this. You were like, if someone has a negative reaction to somebody else for any other reason than that second person coming up and being like, fuck you, you know? Yeah. It's probably like transference, you know? It's probably on you to figure that out for yourself. Yeah. Why it's upsetting you when it's not inherently upsetting. Yeah, exactly. It probably reminds you of another person, or like you're upset about a situation, you know, all these different things. Psychology, whatever. Just curious. You never forget the first kiss of a woman. You never forget the first piss in your panties. Oh, what? Shit. How old were you when you got your first kiss, if you don't mind me asking? I don't even remember what my first kiss was. Really? Yeah. I was 17. I think it was a girl. I would assume it was. Why would you assume that? I don't know. Because that's what you're into? Yeah. I know you like dags. You kiss your dag. I can go both ways. Fair enough. If a guy wants to kiss me, fuck it, I don't give a shit. I just remember, all I remember about my first kiss is, like, I was out with two girls who were friends, and one, like, they just clearly, like, planned it out, and, like, one, like, we were all on the porch, and the one was like, well, I'll see you guys later, and she just bolted, like, super fast, or like, I'm gonna start the car, or something like that. I was like, okay, that's weird. I was like, well, good night. And she kissed me, and I just remember, like, my heart, like, exploding out of my chest. I was like, ah, cool. Oh, that's cute. Yeah. I think we kissed a second time, because I was like, can we do that again? It's like, just so, like, floored. Oh, neat, cool. Oh, man. That's probably how I was, too. Yeah. But I was just kind of like, whoa. It's a big deal at the time. Yeah. Because, like, movies make it seem like it's this big fucking thing. Right. It's not, man. I fucking kiss my wife every fucking day. Right. And feel nothing. Because
I was gonna say because I love her.
Okay.
But yeah, sure. Your thing too, I guess. Compliment I got from like a random girl.
What, that you've got a black girl booty?
No, that somebody was like, it was a girl at a fucking. There you go. A girl at a hot dog on a stick, and she was cute.
Uh-huh.
And I got one. This is a long time ago.
Okay.
I got one, and I was walking away, and she was like, "You got a nice butt," and I was like,
"Really?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.
Neat.
This is awesome.
I love it."
'Cause I'd never gotten compliments from girls like that before.
That shit really does stick with you.
Yeah.
A girl of African American descent once in Philadelphia, she was like really forward. She was like, "You're beautiful. Do you have a girlfriend?" And I was like, "Oh," and I did at the time, and I was just like, "Oh, I want to say no," but I was like, "Yeah, I do, but thank you," and I never forgot. And then the girlfriend and I broke up like a week later, and I was like, "Why couldn't you have broken up with me before the fucking black girl like me?" Because I've still never gotten to be with a black girl.
Oh.
And I've been told, the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
I've heard once you go black, you never go back.
I know that's true because I'm of a different descent, and it's once you go Jewish, there's a 40 to 45% chance that you never go back. But that's actually being pretty generous. You need more than 2 hands in your best friend, Dan. First of all, I'm your best friend?
Yes. Well...
Thank you. Yeah, Susie's your best friend. Yeah, I don't care.
All right.
She's her own category.
She's in a different category as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
Yes.
Right. But I'm in the I'm in the best friends that you don't have sex with category. For now. Play your cards right.
Yeah. I mean, I have sex with a lot of my friends.
You know, actually, it's funny. My sister's been married for 5 years now, 6 years, and she's been with the guy for like 10 years. Awesome dude. And I was like, "What is your secret, Dan?" Because I have never had a relationship that's longer than like 2 years. And she was like, "Really? Honestly, the super simple truth is, you just want to find a best friend who you want to fuck." I was like, "It can't be that simple." And she's like,
"It's that simple."
Yeah. She was like, "It's that simple." I was like, "God damn, that's really beautiful."
That's cool.
That is good.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, classique.
It's Mario in the house.
God, it's almost amazing how like and this kind of look to it like really was like such a life-changing thing when I was a little kid.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, it's just so like...
No question.
My life was not the same. Well, it's Donkey Kong Jr. Oh my god, this is absolutely Donkey Kong Jr.
Yeah.
One of the fucking hardest arcade games of all time, by the way. Like, it's so hard. Agonizingly so. It pissed me off to no end. I used to take karate lessons at the Huang Karate School, where I grew up in Jersey, and like they had like a Donkey Kong Jr. game. Oh, now you're big Donkey Kong.
I'm DK, bro.
I love it.
Fucking DK.
And that shit was. I mean, I was only like a 7-year-old kid, but I was like, I'm so mad. Like,
whoa! Did you like? See, the arcade machine?
No, because the machine wasn't in like the building that we usually trained at. It was only in the building where we did like our tests to get a new belt. So it was like an important day, and you weren't like supposed to be fucking around. But of course, we were fucking around, and playing video games, and getting angry, and not harnessing our chi the way good little karate kids should have. Oh, Mega Man, I have bad news. Your penis is very small right now.
What? I built it that way.
Yeah, I'm a doctor, and over there is where the penises are bigger than yours.
All the penises.
In fact, all I could point to anywhere, and the penises will be bigger than yours.
This dog's penis is bigger than yours.
Very Small penis. Hello, Wiley.
Hello, Dr. Big Penis Wiley.
They call me Dr. Willie, actually.
Yeah, they do. You've got to go now, Mega Man. Get a rush and follow Wiley spaceship.
Okay, cool. You know, I actually had that situation when I was like 13 or 14. Like,
your penis was too big?
No, quite the opposite. My doctor, like, I had like a pediatrician for way too long.
A pediatrician?
Good one.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And you know how, like, sometimes you just see your childhood doctor for too long because, like, I don't know, you're just, like, lazy and scared of big person doctors.
You're, like, best friends?
Yeah, that was the case with me.
You invited him to your barbecue?
It was a woman. It was a lady.
Invited her to your barbecue?
Woman, an Indian lady named Dr. Mullock, and she was awesome. I loved her. But, like, the problem with that was, like, she kind of treated me like a kid for a very long time. And so my mom and she, like, she gave me, like, a physical when I was, like, 12 or 13.
Uh-huh.
And she's just, like, in the main, like, office with, like, everyone around. And she's just, like, your son is, like, everything's fine. He's totally normal. He's just a little bit of a late bloomer, you know? And I'm like...
You haven't had your period yet?
Yeah, I mean, basically she was saying I had a small fucking baby dick for too long. And I'm just like, oh, this is awesome! Just like in front of like all the cute like receptionist girls. Like super duper!
You just look to the sky and just, ah!
What a great fucking day this is for me. Their knowledge is treasure, and their treasure is knowledge. Oh! Whoops. Oh boy. Oh. Oh, really?
Yeah, really, Dan.
They should just, like, let you courtesy die there and, like, start back up. Like, surviving that's almost the worst thing.
But how could a Zelda game be imperfect, Dan?
It's not. It is perfect. It's we who are fallible as humans.
Oh, God damn it. God damn it. God damn it!
Case in point.
Fuck. Fuck! I have so much going for me in life. I have so many things that are good and pure, and I have friends that care about me.
You do.
And I've been reconnecting with so many people.
One sitting right
and
here.
Things have been so good, and I've been calling my parents more often.
They love you.
And I've been connecting with my brother. We've been playing video games together.
He's a great guy.
Online, and he's coming to visit me in March.
That'll be fun.
And just like, and we finally found like couples that we can hang out with, because that's so difficult to find as a couple.
Sure.
That like, you know, it's like where both of them are awesome and they think both of us are awesome, and it's just a mutual awesome fest.
Usually there's one douche in that mix.
Well, it's not douche, it's just kind of like, I don't really like him, and it's like, oh, okay, well.
Yeah, because he's a douche.
Well, okay, well. But just things are... oh. Oh, no. I fell off the side.
Oh, man.
You watched it happen.
What happened to me? Why, no, but I have a similar story. Would you like to hear that? It's like I could do that right now. Mm-hmm. Be like, have you ever, what have I got? I don't know, I have like 2 stories I'm really not proud of from my college years.
Oh yeah?
Pretty sure you know both of them.
Is it the one where you got arrested?
Well, I didn't get arrested, but I did have a, an altercation with police. Altercations is a strong word.
That means like almost like a fight.
Yeah, no. They told me to sit on a curb, and I did for a while.
That's what I was talking about.
Do you want me to tell that story?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Okay, so I was a fresh-faced young lad with a full beard of the age of 18, and I just got into NYU. I went to New York University in New York City, New York State. And a couple weeks after I arrived there, I was hanging out with some friends, and they were like, hey, let's go to Central Park. And I was like, my God, that's a brilliant idea. I've never been to Central Park. except for that one time. But now I live in New York, so it's my Central Park. So I went to Central Park at 2 in the morning, which is a terrible idea.
Why?
Because, I mean, what, you might get stabbed. Like, don't run around in a city in a dark place that's not well lit in the middle of the night. It's not smart. We didn't know that because we were stupid and young. What we also didn't know was that Central Park closes at night. So we're walking through the park, having a good time, chatting about life and whatever, enjoying the fresh fall air. And there's an employee of the park who's like, hey guys, park's closed. And we're like, oh, excuse us. Very sorry. Didn't mean to trespass on public property? I don't know. I guess it's public property. But yeah, so we're like, okay, fine. So we're on our way out of the park. And we're like, okay, well, we'll get back to the dorms and have ourselves a sleep. All of a sudden, we're walking along one of the streets that kind of cuts its way through Central Park. And police pull up.
Okay.
And we're like, oh, okay, hello. And they're like, give us your IDs and sit on the curb. And we're like, what did we do? And they run background checks on us, I guess. They're like, it was like half an hour that we were sitting on that curb while they were just looking up our life stories, I guess. As we're sitting there waiting, and we're just like I've never been like told by police to do a thing. I'm a good boy. I've never done anything wrong. And as we're sitting there, being all dejected and sad, a horse-drawn carriage goes by, filled with drunken people who point and laugh at us. And they're like, hi, you guys got busted. We're just like, we don't even know what we did. Eventually, the police come to us, they give us back our IDs, and they give us, citations. They give us court summons for an hours of operation violation. They couldn't find anything on us because we hadn't done anything wrong, at least in the past. But we were in Central Park after it was closed, so they gave us court summons.
Good job, NYPD. You're really keeping the streets safe.
Yeah, and we were on our way out of the park, but whatever.
That's right, I said it.
Yeah, so that was like September, and our court date was in November. So for 2 months, I had this ticket hanging on my wall. And it would just, every morning I would get up and it would just hang over me like a wet blanket. And I'd just be like, oh my god, I gotta go to court. Like, my parents are gonna disown me. My life's gonna be over. This is a nightmare. I did all this research. I built a case for myself being like, you know, there's a gate at the entrances of Central Park, but they're not ever fucking closed. There's no signage saying the park is closed. There's no signage saying hours anywhere. And even on the Central Park website, there's like, you have to click through 5 different pages or something to find out the hours of the park. I was like, there was every reason for me to not know that the park was closed. Morning of the court date. It wasn't a trial. I don't know. It was court summons. I get up and put on a suit. I'm like, super legit, like, I'm gonna do it. I gotta go to court, and this sucks, but I'm gonna get my shit together, and I'm gonna stand up for myself.
Right.
Go down with my friends who were with me that night. I'm walking up out of the subway in Chinatown, and my shoe gets caught on a step, like I kind of like slide my foot.
Oh no.
And my shoe splits open. Like a talking shoe, like a flap.
You went into court with a talking shoe?
So
It's hilarious.
the sole didn't come completely undone. It was still connected.
Oh, right.
But it meant that if I was just walking normally, it would open up and then curl underneath my foot and then like double back. So in order to keep the flap at the front of the shoe, I had to kick my foot out with every step of my right foot.
So you had to walk funny.
So I had to walk like a minister of silly walks from Monty Python or some shit, like normal step, crazy kicking step, normal step, crazy kicking step. And I walk down to the courthouse, and I wait my turn, and I have like all of this like mental information prepared. I'm like, I got X, Y, and Z, I got all this evidence, like I'm gonna stand up for myself. And they call my name, and I do my awkward fucking limp kick walk up to the podium thingy. And the judge takes a look at me, takes a look at my summons, takes a look back at me. He says, get out of there earlier. And bangs his little gavel, and I had to pay a fine to the city.
What was this fine?
It was like 60 bucks.
Really? That was it?
Well, it was a lot of money for me as a broke college student, but I was like, I like had my mouth open and my finger up like, okay, I'm not gonna fight that. I'm just gonna create more trouble for myself. So then I awkwardly kick flipped out of there.
Yeah, I had a friend get in trouble because he was caught urinating in North
Oh, that's
Bridge.
serious.
Not in Australia, it isn't.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Over here, they can put you on a sex offender registry.
Yep, that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
So basically what happened was I took a I'll admit now, this happened like 15 years ago. I was taking a piss in Northbridge, which is like around by the city in Perth, and I just finished taking a whiz, and my friend Josh, he was like just finishing up trying to take a pee, and then just as I like had finished up and shook off my wiener, I turn around and then. No, and then I'm just standing there for a while, like maybe like 10 seconds, and he's like still going, and I'm just like, whoa, you're still going? He's like, oh yeah, man, I had a lot to drink. I've got, you know, I broke the seal. I'm not in a good place. And I was like, all right, take your time. And then just as I said that, I turn around, and then these cops on bikes are standing right behind us, and they're like, how's it going? And I'm like, yeah, pretty good. And they're like, yeah, gonna have to give you a ticket, mate. And then my friend's like,
fucking Australian police.
Shit. So then basically, you know, my friend's like, oh, I'm real sorry. You know, like the line to all the bars was really long. I really needed to go. I couldn't hold it. And they're just like, still got to give you a ticket. And then they gave my friend Josh a ticket, and he had to go to court. And I'm pretty sure he just like was really honest. He's like, yeah, I was peeing. There's no bathrooms, and I'm pretty sure they let him off with like just a small fine as well. So like, seems like most judges, like for that kind of stuff, like they don't want to waste your time too much. I don't know.
No, they're still wasting your time. But
yeah, I mean they are.
It's not. I don't know. I think it's a matter of, you know what, like I don't feel like making an example out of you. Just don't do it again.
Exactly.
If they're like, I'm gonna throw the book on you and you're gonna serve time. It's like, well, but what? Why? It's kind of a messed up system, but yeah. I don't know. I don't. Excuse me. I just like I have a lot of respect for police officers. I want to make that very clear. It is a very...
I don't fuck the police. Don't arrest me, please.
It's a very selfless line of work. You know, the bigger problem is the kind of the system, the bureaucracy. I'd say that has more room to improve, perhaps. The individuals out on the street, like, a lot of respect.
No, I'm kidding. Whatever.
But I was very annoyed with the officers that stopped us in Central Park, because I was like, we were on our way out of the park. We were like literally 2 minutes walking distance away from the outside of the park. And even when they were like, all right, get out of here, we were like, excuse us, officers, what's the quickest route out of the park? And you're like, oh, just take this. And it's like the direction we were walking. And we're like, okay, thank you, have a nice night. But it's like, why couldn't he just been like, all right, you kids, the park's closed, get out of here. Like, why did they have to make me stress and go to court? But anyway, the epilogue to that story was a full year after that, maybe 2 years later. I was home for the summer, having burgers with my parents.
Oh no.
And I'm just kind of like, you know what? Fuck it. Caution to the wind. Hey, Mom and Dad, I went to court freshman year. And they're like, what? And I'm like, yeah. And I tell them the story. And I'm just terrified. Like, I've been terrified ever since it happened. Like, oh my god, what are my parents gonna say? What are they gonna do? They were in tears laughing. They fucking love that story. Especially the flappy broken shoe. That's like the cherry on top of what a shitty semester that was. So that's the fun little epilogue where it's just that's like, oh, my mom and dad think my pain is hilarious. I guess because the ending is just like, whatever.
You're Miss Barish, whose horrible voice still haunts me to this day.
You lied to me!
You lied to me!
What did you lie about?
Well, fucking, she was, like, I didn't do my homework, like always.
Yeah.
And she,
Well, what are you gonna do? Tell her you didn't do your homework?
That's the thing. She was like, did you do your homework, Dan? And I was like, yeah. You're just you're a scared 8-year-old kid. And an adult gets in your face, and you don't want to, like, you're already ashamed that you didn't do it. And then she was like, okay, put everything in the center of the table and I'll collect it. And she was like, where's yours, Dan? And I was like, I put it in there, because you just panic.
Yeah.
And she was like, and then she looked through and she's like, you didn't do it! You lied to me!
You didn't do it!
Yeah, she got all in my face. She made me, like, walk outside and sit in a desk in the hallway and write an apology letter to her.
Wow.
Yeah, I'd like to redo that apology letter now,
actually. Have it?
No, I had to give it to her.
Oh.
Yeah, and then she called my mom. And my mom was like, She sounds psychopathic. You do your homework, but like, don't worry about all the rest of that shit. My mom is awesome. She had to defend me from like a bunch of crazy teachers when I was a kid.
She's a nice lady.
Oh yeah, you met my mom.
Yeah, she's great.
She's so rad. I love her.
She makes me smile.
Debbie.
Deb.
Deb.
Hey, Debs.
Love you, Deb. Love you, Doobles.
Doobles. You should probably explain. People are probably gonna think you're weird for calling your mom Deb.
I feel like I've explained it once or twice before.
Really?
Well, yeah, because, I mean, I've always called my parents by their first names. Just because I kind of learned how to speak before anyone taught me, so I just called people by what I heard other people calling them.
Yeah.
So, like...
Which seems like a lot, like it should happen a lot more commonly.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know what happened, but like... But that's why I call my grandma Mom, because I heard my mom calling her Mom. So, my grandma's Mom, and my granddad's Pop. And my mom's Debbie.
Wow.
Yeah. Or Doobles. Or Doobles McDooblestein, as she's come to be known.
So if
Doobs for short.
So if nobody did all that shit by like Generation 3, everybody would just be calling each other by their names.
Yeah, why not? I remember other parents at like PTA meetings, like if I'd be like, "Hey Debbie," that all the other parents would be like,
yeah, like is he adopted? Or, yeah.
Yeah, it's so disrespectful.
Is he from a different marriage?
She was like, "It's just a fucking sound. Why don't you release the sphincters?"
All right, so I'm
Wow,
going...
you know what you just reminded me of that I haven't thought of in a long time?
What?
My dad once risked his life to get me a Giants hat.
Really?
Yeah, I had this giant... Barry, I'll try to find you a picture of me at whatever age in that Giants hat. I had to be like 10 years old. But like, I had this hat that I fucking loved so much, and I stuck my head stupidly out the window while we were driving on the interstate, and of course the hat flies off, and I'm immediately like, my one thing in this world that I loved. So I start crying, and my dad pulled the car over and got out and ran into the middle of the fucking interstate with cars going like 90 miles an hour all around him to get my hat for me.
Man, what a badass.
What a fucking badass dude.
What a dad ass.
Nice.
Because he's a dad.
Oh, I love that guy.
Oh, God.
Avi, the best.
And he was like, maybe the traffic could stop, maybe?
Oh, wait, before we sign off, I just want to say I did find the picture. Remember I said I was talking about that picture of me in the Giants hat that my dad risked his life to like get? I found the picture. Like Barry put up a joke picture because I couldn't find the real one. But
you actually finally found it?
Yeah, I found a picture of me wearing it. Here, check this out.
Damn! Oh shit! My pussy just got soaked!
Alright, you know what? Next time on Game Grumps, just trying to fucking share a little moment from my childhood.
I'm sorry.
Gotta bring fucking...
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm sorry I have to make a joke out of everything.
Nope. Nope. It's cool. It's cool.
Especially your doofy ears.
Throw it right
I
through.
didn't know you could throw it right through the bottom.
Oh, that actually really helps.
Yeah, Jesus, that's like way better.
Whoa.
Whoa. Oh no! I got hit by the Babums!
I swear to fucking God, Aaron.
Those fucking Babums are always babbing me up.
If I fucking have to watch you play this one more time through.
I don't care. I don't care. You know what? I don't care. I got it this time. I got it.
Yeah.
I solved the problem.
Watch me got it.
I got it. All I need is an extra loan and borrow a couple dollars from my parents. They're still kicking.
When you decided to become an animator, before you became financially stable, excuse me, did you ever have to ask your parents for money?
No.
No. Really?
No.
You just dropped out of high school and the pussy drawing Mozart?
I lived with them for fucking 22 years or something.
Okay. That's a decent amount of time.
That's, you know, that's asking them for money, essentially.
I guess so. But, like, once you moved out, that was it?
Once I moved out, no, I never did. I was very poor, like, super poor. Well, I think I told the story on the show once where I was, like, taking money out of my friend's piggy bank. So that,
oh my God, I never heard this.
So that I could,
that I remember.
so that I could buy gas money to get to work.
Oh God. Was that the Disney days?
Yeah, those were the
Whoa,
Disney days.
3-shot kill.
Yeah, those are bad times. I always paid them back though.
Aaron, you are the worst.
Shut up, man. I'm just trying. Fuck. I'm just trying to fucking get it done.
I hear you.
It was. I wanted to make sure he like knew it. I was like non-confrontational at the time.
Right.
I have since learned confrontation.
Oh God, yeah.
But
you'll kill a man if he looks at you wrong.
well, it's just being in charge of what 9 people.
Right.
You have to be open to confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, I wanted him to know that I was doing it and that I was paying him back. So I paid him back in bills instead of coins.
Oh, that's cool.
So like suddenly he would have bills in his bag, and you know, thinking back, I kind of wonder like, why the fuck do I suddenly have bills in my bag? Like, just for some reason I was like, he'll know I took some, and then I felt guilty, and then I
you
like,
never even like, said you were taking money from his piggy bank?
No.
Wow.
I just snuck into his room and took money, and then I paid for gas, and then when I got my paycheck, then I'd take some bills out of what I took, and then I'd pay him back.
That's crazy, man.
Bills in the bag, or the piggy bank or whatever.
Man, it was. My parents supported me for a long time.
Really?
Yeah, and it was very humiliating to keep asking for help, especially when like my dad was like, you know, not that he didn't support me, but like he didn't understand what I was trying to do, you know, because like he's a business guy and like he's a dollars guy. Nice.
Yeah.
Good job.
Samba bomb.
Save that mushroom, bro. Don't hit it right away, baby. Save that shroom. That's a little mushroom tip from your boy Dan. I got some more mushroom tips if you want.
I'm curious. You know I'm curious. I want to see that tip.
Yeah, all right. I'll show you what it's about. Oh, whoa, look at that.
Mushroom, bro.
Oh, no, we killed the other one.
Oh, motherfucker.
Douche.
I'll just let him have it. I'll let him have it. I had him.
I don't need your shit.
Is that the end of your story?
No, there was more. It just like, I guess it was just on my mind because like, this past MagFest that we just did felt like a wow, we actually made it kind of situation, you know?
Yeah.
And like, as awesome as the last couple of years have been, it still felt surreal, and it didn't feel, because it was Game Grumps and because it was something that like you had built with John so much, it didn't really feel like I deserved like a lot of the success that came with it, if that makes sense. Like, it was like I didn't build this, I jumped on, you know, when there were already like 1 million subscribers and stuff.
Yeah, but there's 3 million.
Yeah, it's awesome. No, now I'm a little bit easier on myself, but don't hit that just yet. Yeah, there you go.
You gotta savor the flavor.
Shit. Now hit that shit. Yes. But I mean, Ninja Sex Party, like, that was something that, like, Brian and I created out of nothing, you know? So, like, for that to, like, have taken off felt amazing. And, like, I think just because my dad was there in the audience and, like, he was beaming, you know, and my mom was there. It was just so fucking amazing. What was the point of all this? Oh, just that, like, so there were a bunch of people asking me, like, what's it feel like, you know? And, like, can I ever get to that point? And, like, the short answer is yes, you can. And the other answer is, like, you know, I had a lot of fucking help, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I did not do this on my own and all that. Like, my parents and my grandma, Granny Sexbang, how many fucking hits does this guy take?
I know.
My God. I remember Granny Sexbang gave me a check for, like, let's just say a 4-digit number that was more money than I had in the bank at the time, you know? And that's what allowed me to do the Sacred Chalice videos when we made those. Which led to us getting our first manager and all this shit. But, like, I got to hang out with her the other day and I was like, Mom, like, oh, I call Granny Sexbang Mom, for anyone who doesn't know that. It's like, you know, you made all this possible, and she was like, you made this like, it just fucking, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with all this, other than that, like, this is the first time in my life I've ever felt like, you know, really happy with career stuff, and, like, it just feels great.
I'm very happy for you, man.
Thank you, man.
I feel similarly.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's sort of a misnomer. is that like in order to make it, you have to do everything for yourself, and it's like, nah, man.
No.
Everyone gets a little help.
Yeah, lean on things, and yeah, don't feel like you have to, like it's you against the world, because it's really not.
Yeah.
You've got friends and family, probably.
You're worse off for that.
Yeah.
And there are tons of people out there that want to help.
I wonder if there's something you need to be doing, dude.
Are you fucking
Because he
serious,
took like
man?
15 shots.
Yeah, I've been wailing on him for a while.
Yeah.
I guess I'll give it one more shot.
Okay. And then we'll just call this a loss. Right after I gave that believe in yourself speech. You can do anything you put your mind to, except if you're Arin and it's what you put your mind to is this level of Mario Maker.
There's those gray areas in life for everything, really.
Oof.
Nah, it's true, man. It's true. I hear it all the time. People's like, I want to do it all on my own. I want to know that I did it myself. And it's like, nobody did it themselves.
Yeah, and good luck. I mean, I'm sure some people did, you know, but like...
Did you create an entire network and like distribution platform so that you could release your shit? Like, it's like there's always someone.
Yeah, along the lines.
You.
Yeah, sure.
In one way or another.
Yeah, I mean, we're all piggybacking off the ideas and success of the weird druid council that created YouTube, you know, that no one knows their names.
Did I invent the Let's Play format? No. Did I invent fucking cartoons on the internet? No.
Yeah. But that's a good point.
I made fucking... Did I even invent the subject matter of my first cartoon? No. It's fucking Metal Gear.
Oh, yeah.
Well, actually, it was Final Fantasy VII, but nobody watched that.
Whoa, nice. That was a nice up.
Thanks.
Oh,
Bro.
dude, sick.
I really like it when you acknowledge my ups.
Yeah, you got sick ups, bro.
Wow, dude, thank you. Fuck, oh, fuck, oh, shit, that made me want to work out.
What?
What?
You know what, this is kind of cool, or what's kind of cool about this, I should say. It kind of reminds me of Super Mario 2, in that, like, you've got your main quest in the main level, and then you go down a pipe, and then you kind of, like, go through some shit to get the key, and then come back with the key and complete the main level.
That was a very NES trope.
Yeah,
like.
Yeah.
It's like Bugs Bunny's Crazy Castle was like that.
Yeah. Mickey Mousecapades had some shit like that. It's God, I just had a flashback to fucking...
Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, just Mickey Mousecapades and Super Mario 2. Like, how fucking young were we?
That was, I've told you that's right. That was the moment where I knew everything was gonna be okay.
Yeah.
When you made the fucking... death approaches! Yeah. And like went inside. The Mayor Luigi bit was when I knew everything was gonna be okay with Game Grumps.
Which is a good feeling for me because... Oh, fuck you.
Wow, dude.
I know, it was tricky.
Wow.
Sorry. It makes me feel good because it was like such an early one, you know?
Yeah.
It was, I think it was our second playthrough.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird because it felt like... Because at the time, like, the second playthrough was like, oh my god, we have such a wealth of episodes now.
Yeah, I know.
We're on our second series, but
I know.
Thinking back, it's just like, wow, that was like a week after the first series.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was such an intense time in our lives, because of the uncertainty of what would happen, that, like, I think every day felt like a year, you know?
Yeah.
So it was a really wild time.
Well, that's also how Goof Troop was for me in like the original Grump episodes. It was like Goof Troop was like the fourth game we played, as in like it was like the second change. We started out with 3 different series.
Okay.
It was Kirby and Zelda, and Mega Man 7. And then we went on Goof Troop, or maybe Goof Troop was the first one. I don't remember. But one of those, and it felt like so long after we had started.
Oh, that's
like,
not anything?
It was like a couple weeks. Is it?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you would have made it if you just jumped a little earlier. Hadn't douched around like douche.
Wow, dude, seriously, shut the fuck up. We've talked about this.
Are you 1,000,000% serious?
What? No.
Oh, okay.
It's a joke. It's a joke, Dan. Or how can you be so sure that this isn't a joke?
I can't. It's tough because you are getting to be a much better actor as like our Game Grumps experience.
Ow!
Wow.
Oh no!
You really slid down there.
Thank you for that compliment, by the way. I feel that way too.
I agree. It's getting harder for me to tell when you're actually mad at me. That's fun.
Here's a hot tip. I'm never actually mad at you.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a single thing that you've done that I've gotten mad at. There was actually a point, really early on where I was like jealous of you.
Why?
So I was like, oh, that Dan.
What do you mean?
Because you were amazing, and I was in like
Stop.
I was in like a really shitty place. So I was like, oh, I'm not worth shit, and this guy's fucking doing music videos, and he's doing the show too, and he's so funny, and everybody loves him.
This was after I joined Game Grumps?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was very brief, but
I had no idea.
yeah, I mean, I got over it.
Well, thank you.
But,
Shit,
I
man,
mean,
that's wild.
Yeah, take it as a compliment, I guess.
I do. Oh, that's not fair.
Fucking really?
Don't take that as a compliment. Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah, but then I was like, what the hell am I talking about? No, that was it.
So essentially you got mad at me for being too nice?
Kinda.
And never doing anything to piss you off?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. That speaks to, remember that thing we looked at, like, the more people you're it's a graph. It's like, the more people you're seen by, the more you'll be hated, no matter what you do.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So, like, you might as well just do your own thing.
Yeah. Well, I guess you could tally it by percentage of hated.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
So, like, if you have 10 people and one of them hates you, that's 1 out of 10 people hates you. But if 10 million people see you,
yeah,
and 1 million of them hate you, that's still 10%. So you're batting pretty good. Same average.
You think I'm amazing?
Well, yeah, doesn't everybody?
I think you're amazing.
No.
Everybody does not. I assure you that.
I
am hated by some, for sure. For show.
For show.
Yeah, and as we've talked about many times on the show, it's often like it doesn't even matter how much other people like you, because like inside you're like, well, I suck balls, you know?
Yeah.
So and it doesn't have anything to do with anything. It's just your own personal inside voice shit.
Well, I don't feel like that anymore.
No, me neither. Thank God. Shit's a waste of time.
He was Spike in the movie.
Yeah, also that.
Not in the series.
Not in the series?
Quote unquote.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you super sure about that?
It's like an old. So he's a union actor.
Oh, you told me about this. Yes.
You connect the dots on that one.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Got it.
Someone else is credited.
Yeah.
As the voice of Spike.
Like Chip Smackley.
Yeah.
Yeah. But one thing I'll say about Steve Blum, like I met him at Otakon many years ago, like 2007, before any of this happened, before NSP, anything like that. And it was when I was still with Skyhill, my band before NSP. And I gave him a Skyhill album. And at that time, I was giving Skyhill albums to like a lot of just anyone who would listen. And so many people were dicks about it and not cool. And Steve Blum was the fucking coolest. He was like, I can't do his voice, but he was like, would you sign it for me? You know? I was like, oh, fuck. Like, I'm here to get your autograph. But, like, he asked me to sign it for him. It was just, I don't know.
Would you sign it for me?
Yeah, exactly. I was just struck by how fucking totally cool he was.
Yeah, he's a really nice dude.
Yeah, and it kind of, I was like, if I ever get to a point where people want my autograph, like, I'm going to treat him this way, you know? And so thank you, Steve Blum.
Yeah, I had a similar experience with him where I made because you know, you talk on the internet and you make little funny bits and stuff, and you don't really think about the people that you're like talking about, right?
Right.
So I made this bit about Steve Blum and how he like voices every hero in every game, and it was just like this audio bit that I uploaded to my website. And it was sort of taking a jab at him, but it wasn't really mean.
Right. Just goofing around.
Yeah, and then somebody named Steve Blum commented on my website on that post, and was like, "Oh, this is really funny," and I was like, "Is that really him?"
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, oh man, and I tracked his IP, and it was in California, and I was like, man, it must be him.
Well, you just get so used to people being touchy and uncool about everything.
Yeah.
You know, that like when people can just laugh at themselves and take things in stride and not be so serious.
But I met him in person. And I asked him about that, and I was like, I made this thing, and you commented on it. Was it really you? And he was like, oh yeah, I remember that. That was really funny. And I was like,
fucking awesome.
I was like, aw,
well,
sweet.
It's kind of like how, I mean, for us, who knows when this will air, but like for us, the Sonic playthrough is over now, and we've been getting, but it's going on. Like the episodes are still going up, and the actual Sonic the Hedgehog Twitter account is like commenting like on how much they're enjoying laughing at it, even though we're ragging on the game constantly. And I'm like, oh man, wish everyone could just, you know, just laugh. It's okay.
Well, to be fair, he didn't make Sonic or anything.
Well, it's true. That's true. But like, I feel like his bosses must be cool with it on some level, or else he'd have to stop doing it, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
He represents the Sonic camp.
I ran into Tom Kenny once. We watched a house burn together.
What? You're gonna have to explain that one a little further.
I was on the highway.
Did one of you light the house on fire?
I'm not at liberty to say.
Not on the record.
I want to protect Tom Kenny.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm not gonna. No, I was just like driving through Burbank with some friends on the highway, and then as I was getting off the highway, there was just like a pillar of smoke coming from like the center of Burbank, and I was like, what the fuck? I gotta see what's going on. So I went over there, and then there was like this, I think it was like an auto parts shop or something that was just like on fire.
Whoa. Burning tires. Always good.
Yeah. So I was like, well, shit. And we just fucking watched this place go down, and then like I just like eagle eye, like a fucking weird stalker or something. I just like immediately saw Tom Kenny in his car like drive up, and I'm like, I think that's Tom Kenny.
That's crazy. What are the odds of that?
I know. And
so it wasn't hurting anybody.
Well, he's gonna break out.
Oh, okay.
If I didn't. So he walks up and like starts watching, and then like I go up to him and I'm like, hey, Tom Kenny, and he's like, hey, and like I was watching Transformers Animated at the time, so I was like, hey man, you know, big fan of all your work. I'm watching Transformers Animated right now, like Starscream, yeah. And he was like, ah, cool, and you know, like he let me in on some information that I will not share.
Oh, that's cool.
Which was cool.
I burned this house.
And I was like, ah, neat, cool. And then I made Tom Kenny laugh.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, I was like, man, you know, it's kind of weird that we're bonding over a snuff film. And he was like, what? Ah! And I was like,
ah! Funny joke. Ah!
That's all. He seems like a very cool guy.
Yeah.
That's what a crazy random story.
I know.
I can't believe you never told me your fucking I watched an auto parts store burn with Tom Kenny story. We've known each other for years.
I know, and I'm super happy with that tale.
Yeah.
I think I still have a picture.
like a hilarious someone's dream is dying behind me selfie.
Yeah, we totally took like a picture of us with the burning building in the background. I mean, what else is there to do in a picture situation such as that?
Of course not.
I mean,
3 generations of my family's business going up in flames. Hope you got a good shot.
Also grump with you.
I too am a grump to a degree.
Watch as we play games together for your enjoyment.
Whoa.
Oh, screwed the pooch.
Dang it.
Would you like a color commentary over a gameplay session? How about baseball, basketball, hockey, or cricket?
Cribbage.
Cribbage.
It just turns into weird, like, board games from the 1800s.
Racquetball.
Oh, cheesy.
Enjoy all the fun types of things fun.
Full contact boggle.
Full contact boggle.
Oh, God, you've never played tackle boggle?
Backle.
I found a new word.
I love Boggle.
Me too, actually.
Susie and I used to play Boggle all the time.
Aw, that's sweet.
We would go through like phases where we'd like play one game over and over every night, and then we get really sick of it after a while.
Right.
One of those games, we used to play the Pokemon card game all the time against each other.
I never played it.
I built like 2 really good decks, and then we just like swap them, and we keep like playing each other with those decks, and then we got tired of it.
Dude, I played it. I used to keep records. I think this was part of my OCD or whatever, but like I used to keep records. I would play Magic with my friends, and I would create a deck, and then I'd play it until I either won 100 games or lost 100 games with it. And when I won 100 games, it would be retired into the Hall of Fame. And if I lost 100 games, I would destroy it and like create a new deck. And man, like finding that old sheet, like with all the little scratch marks for the ticks of wins and losses, like that's in the thousands. It's like, Jesus, I could have done something with my life.
Did you like, fuck, did you find the old Hall of Fame box and like a moth flew out of it?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's crazy. That shit must be worth a lot of money because I dropped a lot of money on it, like as a kid.
It's like saying, oh man, I spent so much money on Beanie Babies. They must be worth so much now.
Oh no, Magic cards get crazy.
Really?
There's one Magic card that I believe is $30,000.
What?
Like an Alpha Black Lotus. Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Holy crap.
I mean, who knows? Who knows if like there are collectors out there who actually buy that stuff, but you gotta assume...
Well, if it's worth that much, then there is.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta assume that like a lot of the people who played it are like us and like super nerdy, and they probably, you know, were computer program developers in the early 90s and probably made a killing before the .com bubble burst. I don't know where I'm going with this, but the point is there's probably a lot of rich people who used to play Magic. Or still play Magic.
Yeah, if I was rich, I'd fucking play Magic.
Yeah, God.
Fuck!
Damn these saws!
If I had enough money to retire, I would buy a warehouse in, like, some fucking fuck-off country.
Okay.
And then I would just...
Tell me what's seeing as we have fans in almost every country in the world, tell me what a fuck-off country is, Arin.
I meant to say...
Give me an example.
I meant to say state, not country, because I would live in the U.S.
Oh.
I'd probably get a place in Japan, honestly, but...
Oh,
I would just
fuck-off country like Japan. And a fuck-off state like... Oh, I don't know.
I'm not saying the state is like... Fuck-off state. I mean, it's like a good place to go and fuck off, is what I meant.
Like North Dakota? Arin wants you to go fuck off, North Dakota. Did you hear that shit?
God damn it, that's not what I meant! It's like, I'm gonna go fuck off in South
Dakota?
South Kansas.
Carolina?
I don't know, like Oregon or something, or like Washington. Like, I'd go there and I'd buy a big warehouse, and then I would just spend the rest of my life making miniatures, and I would fill the whole thing with miniatures, so that when I died, people could go in, and it was like a miniature museum, and it was like, this is what Arin did before he died.
There's that dude in New Zealand, I think he's called the Tinkerer, or the Tinkerman, or something like that.
Okay, don't say that in Ireland.
Why? Is that a curse?
Yeah, it's like saying the N-word there.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, no, that's just what they call this guy, and there's gotta be YouTube videos of him, but he's very famous over there, for just creating all these insane little knickknacks.
I would love to do that. I would so like just make little cities, and then I would rig them to have like lights and like moving parts and like little trolleys and shit.
Dude, his stuff is so intricate, it's crazy. Boy, this level sucks. I'm beginning to understand the low clear rate.
And then I would like, and then I would make like little caves and like grottos that you could go through, you know, to like explore more of it. And then there's like little secret areas and stuff. Like I'd make the whole thing like an experience.
That'd be awesome.
And then when I died, you know, I would like give it to somebody, and then they would like, it would be a free museum that you could just go in and like, just, I don't know, have your imagination sort of go wild.
Sounds pretty fucking glorious. Yeah. I can't believe Tinker is a curse in Ireland.
Just Tinker.
Tinker?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't think of sound effects. Oh, yeah, I can. Fucking on Goonies 2. Like the lick my balls. Like that one
yeah.
when the doors would open.
Lick my balls.
Yeah, that shit just sticks in your subconscious forever.
That's, I actually mentioned this in Super Mario Galaxy, but, the sound effect that Mega Man makes in the Mega Man fucking
Arin. Okay, I'll take it. I'll take it,
man.
Okay.
I'm like slow today.
Woof.
The sound effect that Mega Man makes in the Mega Man cartoon when he like shoots his Buster, it's this like foo sound effect, and it's really satisfying.
Isn't that also the sound you use to describe when a kickball fucking hits you in the face?
Actually, some kid like knocked my tooth out.
I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, he was a jerk.
It's pretty forked up.
We're not friends anymore. Although,
whoa,
I am literally not friends with anybody that I ever knew in like kindergarten.
Really?
Yeah. Do you still talk to kindergarten kids?
Not. There's a couple. There's a couple. I have some real. I've been fortunate, man. I have some real friends for life, like cradle to the grave kind of friends.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of it's because we all ended up being nerds, and as like outcasts growing up, we stuck together and forged like really strong bond. Whoop! Boy, this is tough, dude. This is a little tougher than it looks.
I met like my longest friends in like 4th grade. Well, actually, fuck. Grade, that was definitely elementary school. Oh man, yeah, I guess I would say like 3rd grade. I met like the first friend that I've had forever.
No kidding.
Yeah. And he was like
okay, I do have to hold that button down.
For me, he was like this mythical figure.
Mm-hmm.
Because my friend at the time, who was like his friend, like I didn't meet him for like a long time, so he'd like talk about this kid who like had all the cool stuff.
Right.
Like he had like Dragon Ball Z toys, and I was like, whoa, he really has that toy? And he's like, yeah, he has the fucking, he has Trunks and Goten. And I'm like, oh my god, really? That's crazy.
Oh my god. You know what? Handing this off to me did not prove to be the problem-solving situation that you'd hoped.
I believe in you.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I actually just had coffee with the girl I had like a crush on in like 1st grade.
Whoa.
Yeah, it was really nice. It's just amazing. It's amazing that like we're the same people as those kids, you know, like
yeah,
so much fuck you, so much farther down the road, you know?
I feel like it doesn't even count.
What do you mean?
Like if you...
Like once so much time has passed?
Yeah. You know, like I've met that person. It's like, nah, you know, I don't feel like you have. Like once you hit, I don't know, like 22... Maybe like 25.
Mm-hmm.
When you hit 25 and then you like met somebody, I would say you...
God damn it.
I would say you know them.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
They could be 60 and you're like, yeah, I met you, I know you.
You do grow and change a lot, especially in your early 20s.
Yeah.
Like, that's why, like, when someone's like, we've been dating, like, since we were 20, and they're in their, like, mid-20s, I'm like, oh, so you've dated, like, 5 different people.
Yeah.
You know? Like, you just... Every 6 months, you feel so different at that age.
Yeah, that is true.
Once you're in your 30s, it starts to like mellow out a little bit.
So I've heard, and I'm actually sort of looking forward to it.
It's fuck you. It's quite nice, actually. I didn't.
My parents.
I got called a gaylord on like the in like the recess area of the schoolyard long before I had any idea what it meant.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, so you were already inducted into the Lord of Gays?
Yeah, I was like, dude, I am certainly unworthy of a lordship.
Please, Tommy Haverford.
Yeah, I'm like a gaydmiral at best. That's a gay admiral.
I didn't, you know what, I needed you to say that.
Did you? Okay.
When I was young, really young, my parents were talking about like I don't know, some personality, I don't remember who, but they were saying that it was, that he was, they were like, oh, I think he might be gay. And I was like, what does gay mean? And then they were like, you could see, like, I knew even then as a kid.
Yeah, it was something you shouldn't be asking.
And they were like,
wow, you're way better at this than I am.
Oh, it's, and they were like, it's when you like to kiss boys. And I was like, oh, so mommy's gay. Like, I actually said
oh, that's funny.
And then they were like, not exactly.
And your dad was like, who the fuck is he talking about? Yeah, that is funny. Well, because like adult sexual psychology and child sexual psychology are like night and day, you know? So like, you just don't get it when you're a kid. Good job, man.
Boys better watch out.
Yeah.
Boys better watch out.
Mario.
That I was just testing to see if the one on the left fell, and it does.
Boy, this is fun.
So I was right about that.
This is some mandatory fun we're having right now.
Mandatory fun?
Yeah.
not a...
It's a Weird Al album.
Oh, okay.
But also, it's what my dad would do to me on vacations. Like, was one of your parents like that? Like, when you would go on, like, family vacations, so, like, they'd have it, like, so scheduled and regimented that they'd be like, we're gonna have fun! Like, at 9:15 a.m., wake up!
We never really went on vacations, because...
Really?
We didn't really have a whole lot of money at all.
Oh.
So we just kind of...
Sorry for bringing it up.
Stayed home.
My family often went on
home,
opulent vacations, where we would drink wine with Saudi royal families and ride on horseback on the moon.
Did that really happen, Dan?
Yeah.
That sounds fun. Can I go back in time and hang out with little Dan?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you think we would be friends?
I do.
Do you think if well, what are we, like 8 years apart?
Well, I'm 36 now, and you are what?
29.
So
we're 7 years
yes.
apart. Do you think we would be friends if you were 17 and I were 10?
I mean, it'd be weird.
Do you think we would be friends?
I'd probably be friends with your older brother, and then I'd be like, who's this fucking snot-nosed little 10-year-old bitch hanging out?
Do you
and
think
that'd be you, and then we'd be friends eventually.
Do you think we would be friends if you were 27 and I were 20?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah?
With those pictures you showed me of you as a 20-year-old?
You mean pimpcoat.jpg?
Oh my god, this is so amazing. Can I send that shit to Kevin so he can put it up here?
Oh yeah. Oh shit. Whoa.
Dang, that's tough. Yeah, Arin found some cringy pictures of himself from when he was younger.
I'm a fucking meme, dude.
Are you really?
Yeah, dude.
With that exact picture?
No, it was with it was the one where I had a fedora on and I was in front of my Mega Man collection.
Oh, not
and then fedora. Next to a picture of me wearing all black with 2 swords.
Oh, Jesus.
And it says, I can be your angle or your devil.
Your angle
yeah.
or your devil. Wow.
And it's like super hugely tweeted right now.
It's so great.
It's like really popular. And I'm so happy. it brings me so much joy.
It's so great. I'm kind of the same way. Like, if I ever find some of my old, like, dreadlock pictures, I will definitely put them online. It's a little tougher because they're from before the digital camera age. So...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I have to, like, dig them out of a shoebox and then scan them. Right.
It's like, well, yeah, you had... whatever amount of time that you had.
Yeah.
It seems like we had 4 days, but we actually have just been sitting here.
Yeah, for like 25 minutes. Yeah. Totally.
So I'll just duck.
That always is interesting, you know, because like we had that the Super Mario Galaxy episode where we were talking about like how exhausted we were, you know, like in general with our lives and stuff. That one just came out, although we recorded it a little while ago.
Yeah.
So, we're feeling way better now. Like, we recharged our batteries and everything's cool. But
oh fuck, I fucked it up again.
Oh, Arin, you and your despawning springs. I like that you turned small, but you still had the big guy foot. You're like, bam. Yeah. So, like, we got a ton of messages, very, very sweet messages of support. Like, it's gonna be okay, guys. You're gonna pull through. It's like, we should give you a break. And it's like, you don't need to give us a break. Like, this is our choice, you know? Like, we do this. And we love doing it. So, like, it's just the time difference between, like, living in real time and recording the show and when these things go up there's always a disconnect there.
Yeah.
In any case, though, thank you everyone for your support. It's really sweet to know that you love us.
Actually, today is been one of the days that have actually felt like the best in a long time.
I feel great today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, it comes and it goes. I mean, that's the thing, is that an episode goes up and there's like this air of permanency about it where it's like, that's published, you can watch that a million times over, and it's like, oh, this is the state of things.
Yeah.
But it was just like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So
absolutely
cool. Don't stress, man. Don't stress.
It's all good.
We're not here to stress you out. We're here to de-stress. Bro.
Yeah. We're here to relieve your anxieties, girl.
You got a shit job? Yo, chill out. Go on break and you watch some Grumps.
Yeah. You just kind of horny and you want something in the background while you jack off. Just put on some grumps, yo. Fucking, I do that. I love jerking off to the sound of my own voice.
So, yeah, that was nice, going to Japan.
That's fabulous, man.
I came back and it was tough, but I got over it. I discovered my love for interior design.
Yeah, you're into that now.
Yeah.
That's another thing that really helps. Like, first of all, jizzing octopus goo on this thing's head. That on this
Always healing.
Gross lava head.
Always healing.
Yeah. Yeah. I get what you're saying. I think like a lot of times if you pursue a new interest, like that's another way to essentially just create a new chapter of your life. Just to get into something you've never gotten into before.
Yeah. Well, I realized I had always been into it because when I was a kid and I had my own room, I was rearranging the room like every month. And it sort of never occurred to me that that was like an interest. It was just something I did. And now that I have a house and everything and I share it with somebody else, I'm like reluctant to change things around because it's not like just my space.
Right.
But then I sort of realized like, oh, my office at home is my space. So I can do whatever the fuck I want with it. And I was like, what don't I like about my office? And then I sat down and started designing it. And that was like another moment in the past month where I was like, oh, I feel kind of normal right now.
That's awesome.
So I don't know, like a sense of agency or control over my life was nice to feel.
Absolutely, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so things are like pretty good right now.
Yeah, you seem pretty much back to your normal, happy-go-lucky self.
Yeah, well, that's good. I'm glad that it feels that way. But one of the weird revelations too was sort of like, I think maybe I didn't know I didn't know how to feel like sad or like depressed or something. I didn't have like a frame of reference, so I never really like identified it in my mind. So now when it happens, I'm like, oh no, it's coming back. But then I'm like, oh no, maybe I like always sort of felt like this a little bit. And I just didn't know how to like talk about it or phrase it, or I was like afraid to admit that I was feeling it or something.
Right.
So I think that's sort of a healthy change.
That is very important.
Yeah.
The ability to know what you're feeling in the moment. I speaking for myself, like, I think one of my, this is a younger Dan issue, but like, one of my problems was that I wouldn't know what I was feeling in the moment. And like 6 months later, I'd be able to look back and be like, oh, that's what this meant and this meant and this meant. But like, that's not helpful because you can't do anything about a lot of things 6 months later. So I kind of know where you're coming from. Oh, look at that rainbow.
Oh, it's beautiful.
It's always darkest before the dawn.
I didn't even realize that. Oh yeah, that's true that, huh?
So true.
But it was like there was also two things. Like one was about work. Like I work all the time, and I worked ridiculously too much in 2017.
We both did. We both hit the wall like 2 separate times.
Yeah.
In that year.
And so coming out of working that hard was for one, in one case, the way you put it was like didn't have any time to celebrate accomplishments.
Right.
And then 2, sort of as a result of that, I didn't know how to relax or exist without work. So it was sort of like this sense of like uselessness and like meaninglessness.
Right.
Because I didn't have something to like go into work to and do. It was just kind of like, okay, now I have to exist for a month, and what do I do with that, you know?
Right.
So that was tough, but I got through it.
Yeah. I mean, I get what you're saying and where you're coming from, because like, you know, we've talked about this. For me, I think there's a sense of playing catch up, you know. When I was...
Delicious, by the way.
Delicious ketchup. When I was in my 20s, I was kind of dealing with some mental stuff at the beginning of my 20s, and then some physical problems, because I had issues with my back for a while. And and also I didn't have much success with the bands that I was pursuing at that time. And a lot of my heroes, like Rush and Nirvana and all these other bands that I loved, had already accomplished tremendous things by the time that they were 30. Or, you know, unfortunately for Kurt Cobain, like, he was already gone by that point, but he changed the history of music by the time he was like 25, you know? So when I turned 30 and started Ninja Sex Party with Brian, like, there was this feeling of, I've got to catch up, you know, I'm behind. Which is, of course, ridiculous now, but it's certainly how I felt at the time. And that's part of the reason I've been, like, so insanely driven these past 8 years to just, like, never stop working and go, go, go. It's because I'm not just trying to make a dream happen. I'm trying to make a dream happen to the point where I feel like I should be at the age that I am now, you know, not a couple of years ago. So, the upshot of all that is that it's a mixture of that fear-based, you know, thinking, and also the fact that because we're in YouTube, we are at the mercy, our careers are at the mercy of other people.
I think that's the case, any case in entertainment, you know?
For sure. But we've also seen stuff recently, you know? Like, and I'm not going to make any statement, like, politics-wise, like, however you feel about these things, you already feel that way, you know, if you're listening to this, so it's, I'm not going to make a statement on that, but the fact is, like, PewDiePie drops an N-bomb, you know, and that starts a domino chain, which leads to adpocalypse, and fortunately, we were pretty okay, you know, because we were big enough as a channel, but, you know, a lot of smaller channels, like, really went under, you know, and weren't able to make a living at this anymore.
Right.
And then, you know, you see someone like Logan Paul, who does that video, that was while you were gone, right? With in the Japanese forest.
It happened like the day before we left.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think we were actually in Japan at the same time.
Right. So he does something like that, and that, of course, is another example of people who don't know anything about YouTube suddenly looking at it from the outside and thinking this guy represents all YouTubers, you know? And that, fortunately, it doesn't seem like that has led to another, like, mass exodus of advertisers or anything like that.
Well, it's tough to say because it happened right when January started.
Right, right.
Which is, you know, a huge drop for ad revenue.
Yeah.
A little inside baseball for you.
Yeah, that's just the natural rhythm of advertising on YouTube. January is a slow month for some reason. But either way, that's another... Basically, YouTube is run by the top 50 channels, you know, that make the company of YouTube an enormous amount of its money, an enormous percentage of it.
That's not true.
Not true?
No, not at all.
Well,
the creators, the percentage of creators, like you and me, and like Logan Paul or PewDiePie or whatever, they make up like 1% of the traffic on YouTube.
what?
Yeah.
How can that be?
Well, that's basically why you get all these creators complaining that they don't communicate with us because, like, frankly, they're not super interested in. Like, it's good for brand building to have like channels and shows and stuff, but most of their traffic is from like viral videos and like random shit.
So why does it seem that YouTube is reluctant to discipline folks like that?
Well, how do you?
I don't know.
Aside from, you know, punishing them.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, that's what they've been doing. But it's not really their choice anyway. I mean, to be honest, I don't know, because I don't know that I agree with many things that YouTube does.
Sure.
You know, that's not even factoring in the fact that I'm a creator myself.
Yeah, I'm reluctant to go down this road of conversation just because, like, we owe everything to YouTube.
Right.
You know, I have no desire to bite the hand that feeds us and has afforded us careers.
Yeah.
Because that would be super fucking hypocritical. But, you know, I do... The only point I was trying to make was that we as creators in this job are very much at the mercy of other people's actions.
Right.
Whether it's the creators that are above us and draw a ton of attention, often negative, or the hard to pin down council of druids that runs YouTube. Like, I couldn't even name them if they were in a room with us right now. You know, they're very under the radar. So that's another reason why we've pushed ourselves so hard. Because there's always that fear that, hey, this could all go away no matter how good a job we're doing or how hard we're working at any time, you know?
Yeah, there is a bit of like a treadmill sense of it.
Right. So, but there's also a limit that we clearly hit last year where, you know, we were doing Game Grumps and we did Good Game and we toured with NSP and Starbomb and we toured with Game Grumps.
And we toured with Jack.
It was just nonstop. We went all over the world and it was awesome, but it also killed us inside.
Yeah, well, it made me realize that there's the importance of yin and yang, right? And by that I mean, like, there's a whole lot of yin, not a lot of yang. In 2017, it was just like nonstop work and no self-care.
Yeah,
you know, when there should be sort of a balance, right? Like, there should have been. And I have a buddy who was like, my New Year's resolution is to not work on weekends and to come home at night and not work, you know, like leave it for the work day. And I certainly didn't do that last year. I was working weekends almost consistently.
Right, sure.
And, you know, I would work until, you know, 9 p.m., 10 p.m. and come home and go to sleep pretty soon after, you know. So there wasn't a whole lot of balance in my life in 2017.
Yeah.
And hopefully that'll change. I mean, not hopefully, I will make an effort to make it change.
Yeah, I already feel better. Just for me, it was going back to Jersey and hanging out with my parents and my friends back there and my grandma. And after, you know, usually I get 3 days of that, you know, before I have to come back. But this time I got 10 days. And then, you know, it was very healing and very much a feeling of like, okay, you know. And again, same principle, you know, it reminded me of the time of my life before all this happened. And, you know, just that reminder that, oh, cool, you know, this isn't the way it's always been.
Yeah, and oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that was the gist of it.
Okay.
God, these things are horrifying.
And that's it. What? They're adorable.
Okay.
Look at them.
Oh, they're seals.
Yeah.
Never mind. Now that I know they're seals, they're cute. I thought they were humans with just fucked up faces.
Yeah, and also, oh, fuck, I feel like we should next time on Game Grumps.
Oh, sure. We'll continue this conversation next time on Game Grumps. Bye-bye.
See ya.
God. Should I tell my Nanjing story?
Which one's that?
One where I got blackout drunk in Nanjing.
I don't even think you've told me this story.
I've told you this story.
No, I don't remember.
Okay. Well, this is... You're
not proud of this story? Is that what you're gonna say?
I'm not proud of the story.
That's alright, I got lots of stories like that.
This was, I could've sworn I told this at some point, but maybe not. Stop me if you heard it. Or just skip ahead if you've heard this. So... Again, back when I was in college, and I was younger and dumber, I would drink. On occasion. Way more than I should. And I'm lucky I didn't get in any more serious trouble. Than just having really bad mornings afterwards. But... consequences were far greater when I was studying abroad in my junior year of college.
Uh-oh.
You see, I spent 4 months abroad in China.
That's not good.
For what reason? Couldn't really tell you. I originally applied to go to London, and that program filled up. and I was talking to the global affairs administrator, and I was like, yeah, I guess I can't go to London. He's like, why don't you go to China? And I was like, I can go to China? He's like, yeah, you can go to China. So I was like, okay, so I went to China. I spent 4 months living out of Shanghai, and didn't speak a lick of Mandarin, and was completely a fish out of water.
Justin did.
But
Justin was Chinese.
oh, he spoke Mandarin.
Yeah.
Not Cantonese.
No, he spoke. I'm pretty sure he spoke Mandarin. He might have. Oh, maybe he was Cantonese. I don't know. I'd have to ask him.
Mandarin's more the mainland.
Yeah, I think
Language.
he spoke Mandarin. I mean, he'll probably.
I know, like, in Hong Kong, they speak Cantonese. Anyway, so I was taking Mandarin while I was there, and I was learning a lot just from, you know, trying to survive in China. But a couple weeks, like 3 weeks after arriving there, I went to Nanjing with a couple of the guys I'd met, so these other two guys also happened to be white. There were a couple white folk, Laowai, such as myself, but a lot of the people in the program were Chinese, so they had a much easier go of it than we did. And so us three white gentlemen, myself, another guy, and a third guy who was well over 6 feet tall, in case we weren't conspicuous enough.
Jesus, because yeah.
Went to Nanjing. We took the train down there, and on the train ride down, they didn't have enough seats on the train, so I sat in the compartment between two of the actual passenger trains, like where there's like a bathroom. I just sat on the floor with some Chinese businessmen, and we went to Nanjing, which used to be the capital of China way back when. It's most infamous for the so-called rape of Nanking.
I'm sorry, what?
It's when, in World War II, the Japanese went to Nanjing, which was called Nanking because it's like Beijing used to be called Peking. Have you ever heard of Peking duck?
Oh, shit.
That's Beijing. They just,
Man,
you know, us English speakers like to not say things the way locals say them, so we just kind of say whatever we want. So it was Nanking, now it's Nanjing, or it's always been Nanjing, whatever.
Gotcha.
The Japanese went there and just kind of messed everything up, and just really fucked everything up, and it's a big source of tension between China and Japan to this day.
Right.
Because Japan refuses to acknowledge it or apologize. And China has a lot of strong evidence that this actually happened. It's a pretty, we went to some like exhibits and memorials and stuff. It's pretty intense. But anyway, we were there. We staying at a hostel, sightseeing. We were getting around because I had a camera and I was taking pictures of the bus stops and then matching the characters. That's how little Chinese I knew at this point. And that night we were on the roof of our hostel and we met some Canadians who were traveling through the area.
Right.
And we were drinking baijiu, which is a sweet potato vodka kind of thing.
Okay.
Tastes like battery acid. They sell it in water bottles, because why not? So we're drinking water bottles of battery acid on the roof of this hostel, and these guys are like, yeah, we're going to Nanjing University to party. That's where all the parties are at. And we're like, we want to party. We're young and stupid. So we get in a cab, already drunk from the water bottles of baijiu. And that's basically around when I black out, is us like walking down the steps into a bar / club kind of thing. I remember us buying some drinks. I remember sometime later being by myself in that bar, surrounded by Chinese people buying me shots. And then the next thing I remember, I'm sitting at a big round table eating dumplings, and everyone around me is Chinese. And I don't know where my two friends are. And I'm like, well, shit. I don't know where I am, I don't speak the language, and my friends are gone. I get outside, I'm stumbling around, trying, the only thing I knew was the name of the market that was walking distance from our hostel.
Right.
And there's this girl in the group that I'm with, and she speaks English. She's the only one that speaks English.
Oh, thank God.
Because, I mean, they learn some English in their public schools in China. And so, like, later on during my stay in China, like, I had kids approaching me to practice their English, and I would respond in Chinese and blow their minds. It was really fun.
Cool.
So this girl is helping me, and she gets me into a cab, and she tells the cab driver where I want to go, and I'm just like lolling around, just completely fucked up in the backseat.
That was nice of her. What a nice person.
Very, very nice of her. And I bought a really crappy cell phone while I was there, so I could keep in touch with like my classmates and stuff for the 4 months I was there. And I gave her, or she gave me her cell phone number, and she was like, text me when you get there so I know you're still alive. So I get to the hostel. The front door is locked after a certain hour.
Oh no.
So I ring the doorbell, because, like, you know, the people who ran the hostel also lived there, and there was like a little cafe downstairs. I'm like ringing the doorbell, like slumped against the wall. Eventually, a kind old Chinese woman comes down the stairs and lets me in. I stumble up the stairs, get to my room, door's locked. One of my friends had the key. So I spent the night sitting outside the door of that room because I banged the fuck out of that door. I was banging and banging just like I thought they were in there passed out. No one was in that room. I was the only one who made it back that night.
Whoa, really?
I passed out in front of the door. Next morning, one of the workers of the hostel comes in and lets me into my room. She just assumed, like, she probably assumed exactly what had actually happened and just let me into the room, and I passed out for the rest of the morning. A couple hours later, one of the two guys, the shorter guy of the two, comes in, and he's like, where's, you know, I'm just not gonna mention names to protect the innocent.
Yeah.
He's like, where's tall guy? And I'm like, I don't know, he wasn't with you. And he's like, no, I got too drunk and I ended up getting mugged.
No.
And I was like, oh. And he's like, yep. So I don't have any money. I think he might have had his passport stolen too. I don't remember. It was like pretty serious. Also, this guy was, you know, yeah, like I wasn't surprised. Like if anyone in our group, like this is the guy who we were on a tour, and a guy walks up to our group with a briefcase, opens his briefcase and has a lot of watches in it, and everyone's like, oh no, and backs away. This guy walks up and he's looking. He's like, oh, these are really nice watches. Buys a watch off this guy. The guy puts it on his wrist for him, and then runs away after he gets paid, leaving this guy with only the watch strap, no actual watch. He was a scam artist. He like completely just ripped him off and gave him like a little leather band for like a ton of money. So this guy was gullible, I'll say. So the fact that it's like, I honestly don't even know to this day if he was actually mugged or if he got drunk and just dropped all his shit. I don't know. I want to trust the guy, give him the benefit of the doubt, because it was a messy situation all around. So he's Skyping with his parents, trying to figure out, like, what he's gonna do.
Jesus.
And meanwhile, I'm like, where the hell is his tall guy? Like, what the hell happened to him? I get a text from my roommate. I was roommates with tall guy, not short guy, and we had a third roommate who did not come with us to Nanjing.
Right.
Get a text from the roommate saying, oh, tall guy's back here in Shanghai, which is like a several-hour train ride away. And we're like, what the fuck? So me and short guy managed to get back to our hostel. Tall guy was so fucked up, he didn't remember anything other than Shanghai. So he got on a train back to Shanghai.
Oh my god.
That's how drunk he was.
Holy shit.
So
It's pretty fucking drunk, bro.
we ended up going back to Shanghai. Short guy gets his stuff figured out and everything has a happy ending. A couple weeks later, I get a text message from this girl who saved my life, who helped me get in the cab. Because I texted her and I was like, thank you so much. I probably would have died if it wasn't for you, or at least would have slept in a gutter until I sobered up. You're a lifesaver. Like, thank you so much. She texts me and she's like, oh, when are you going to be in Nanjing again? And I'm like, I don't think ever. But thank you. I really appreciate it. And she's like, oh, that's sad because I would like you to come meet my family. And I'm like, excuse me? And she's like, yeah, and like all my friends want to meet you. And I'm like,
What? Did something happen with you guys?
and she's, no, nothing happened.
Okay.
Nothing happened.
Does it sound like you got serious all of a sudden? I'm very confused.
But,
Unless you guys really hit it off while you were drunk.
well, she saved my life and I'm a white guy. Like, I'm not
Oh.
being racist. Being white gives you a lot of attention out there.
Interesting.
In Shanghai, a little bit less so because they're used to seeing a lot of foreigners. But the second you leave the big cities like Shanghai and Beijing, Nanjing's a big city, but it's still not Shanghai or Beijing. Like
she
people were taking photos of us in the Nanjing Memorial.
So you basically
Just because we're white.
you were the interesting white guys who came to town.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, and we were very interesting. People were buying us lots and lots of drinks.
That's cool. That would explain why you got so drunk.
Yes. We were already drunk, and then that was... We completely underestimated how much people would be amazed by the fact that we were white. It was a really strange time. I could talk a lot about the experience of being white in China. The kicker... I haven't gotten to that part. So I'm just like, oh, like, I'm just trying to be as nice as I can. Like, she asked me my name. I'm like, oh, my name is Barry. Like, again, really appreciate it. Not gonna come back to Nanjing. She says, my name is Amy. I'm in middle school.
What?
Middle school.
That girl was in middle school?
No, she wasn't. Middle school is a direct translation of what they call high school. I, like, dropped my phone in a panic. I was like, what? Middle school? Not saying it's much better. Like,
Oh,
I mean, I'm just confused. I'm just like, wait, so she was...
They call high school, like, upper education is college, middle school is secondary school, which is high school. But she texts me, oh, I'm in middle school, and I want you to meet my family. I was just like, no. Sorry, Amy, I'm never coming back. And then I did some Googling, I was like, okay, she's in high school. Like, not that that makes anything better, but... Jesus. So I have a Chinese wife somewhere out there who I'm neglecting.
Barry, that is you gotta reach out to her.
I should, you know. I just need to find if I still have my Chinese cell phone anywhere.
Oh my god, yeah, you'd still have her phone number.
Shit. I did actually transcribe the texts from her because there's somewhere on my college laptop. Let's see if I can find them.
That's hilarious.
Because it's just like, this is the most insane thing. But yeah, man, living in China was a weird experience.
Fuck.
Letting your lips and face move.
Yes. That's my life,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Whenever I go to a party, I don't know what the fuck to say to people, so I'm just like, nice coat! And they're like, oh, thanks, I got it from JCPenney. And I'm like, Shit! What?
That just really got me. Whoa! That's pointless. Oh, man.
Sure is.
Do you still have trouble at parties? Like, with, like, feeling awkward and shit?
Yeah, of course.
Really?
Well, no. Yes and no, because, the thing is, like, you really can't... I've read a ton of books and had a lot of practice on talking to people. I could fucking give a lecture on how to talk to people, right?
Right. First ask them about their coat. They'd be like, for the next half hour.
But,
and if they stop talking about their coat for any reason, fucking panic.
It's back on the menu. Open that book back up.
You want to stay on the tail of the thing a little bit longer.
No.
Okay.
But the thing is, like, it's just... and I want to get over this, and I want to try to find a way to get over it, but, like, it's just my personality to just be, like, intimidated by social situations.
That's interesting.
Like, I'm as confident as it can be. If you threw me in a conversation with some rando, I would totally be able to talk to them.
What if they were Mexican? What if it's like a Mexican rando?
But... Well, then I guess I'd have to learn a whole new language.
Holy crap. How's your coat?
¿Qué pasó, es coat?
Sí.
Oh, man. But, like, I don't know.
I'm losing my shit.
It's not like riding a bike for me. Fuck!
Right.
I really have to, like, dig in and, like, concentrate to know how to talk to people.
That's interesting.
So it takes a lot of mental energy for me, and it really stresses me out.
I wonder if it's just because we've known each other so long at this point that, like... Because it feels like you're just a fucking sparkling conversationalist, you know? I literally talk with you for a living.
Well, yeah. Oh, I don't know. When you're talking to friends, there's no judgment, so... Right,
that's true. Well, maybe not from your side.
But when
I'm like, this guy's coat sucks.
No.
I'm sorry, go on.
But when you're talking to people you don't see often, or you're just met, like, you know, you're trying to make a good impression, and it's tough. It's stressful.
That's interesting. I wonder if it's just that, like, I'm older and, like, I've gotten to that point in my life where I just don't care. It's like, you know, like, you sort of like...
Well,
nice.
See, for me, that's just a matter of... Because, I don't know.
Whoa.
Oh, shit, it goes backwards?
Oh.
God damn it. God damn it!
Oh, dude!
Fucking throwing curveballs at me left and right.
It's crazy.
I feel like you have a natural talent at talking to people, or at least you've had a lot of practice.
Right.
Whereas for me, it's still something I really have to put a lot of energy into, so my version of not caring is just not saying anything.
Is it possible that... Oh, good point. Is it possible that I'm, like... Maybe Kevin, too. Like, we're the only, like true, like, extroverts in the group?
Yes.
Like everyone else is pretty like.
Oh, I don't know. Barry
can chat it
Barry's
up.
good with strangers.
Yep. That's interesting. I never really thought about it too much.
You are definitely the most introverted extrovert I've ever met, though.
Oh yeah, I do need recovery time.
Yeah, like way more than I do. It's I don't know. It's weird because it's like a fucking light bulb, man. Like, if I'm like hosting a party and it's all on me or something to like make sure everybody's having a good time, I will fucking and it will like energize me.
Right.
I will be floating around that party like crazy, like making sure everybody, I'm talking to everybody, and I know everybody here, and I've said hi to everybody, and I know what's going on with them, and then that'll just make me like charged up,
right.
and by the end I'll be exhausted, of course, but like, you know, I can do it like that. But when it's like somebody else's party and there's no obligations, I just, you know, I'm like, all right, I'll talk to the people I know and like maybe meet a new person, and then and then I want to sleep.
Yeah, you just bring a fucking shit ton of coats. Or like you always lead everyone into the coat room and you're like wow, look at all these coats, huh?
Yeah, they're like, yeah, this one's suede.
Oh gosh.
I love how I'm talking about this, and like it could very well be that like you take a snapshot of me at a party and I'm just like, what's your name? Okay. Did you? I'll tell you what though.
You're like Burlington Coat Factory. Like, oh, thank God.
Hi, welcome back.
Hello, welcome back to Game Grumps, where we were in the middle of a larger conversation.
Yes, we were talking about overworking and depression and all that shit.
It's fun.
Yeah, it was good topic, conversation.
Digging it.
What I was saying was, in terms of understanding there's a balance in what we do instead of overworking, was, what I sort of realized was I was dreading in terms of, here's how it worked, right? I had a month off. I got off.
Hell yeah.
I was immediately, many times. I was immediately depressed.
Right.
And then there was sort of this, like, this dire looming sense of, like, oh shit, I'm depressed and this is my time off. Is this really time off, right?
Right.
And so it was like, well, I need to make the best of my time off, but I'm depressed. And it was just the clock a ticking, you know?
Yeah, I remember you telling me when you came back that, like, I thought I knew what depression was. I did not know.
Yeah.
Which was interesting.
For sure. I had never been in that state before in my life. It was really bad. But what the fuck was I saying?
Sorry. You've
oh, the balance thing.
Yes.
Okay, so there was this sense of like dread, right, where I was like, the clock's ticking, and when I thought about work and going back to work, it sort of felt like it was like so final, you know. It was like, well, then I'll never get time off again, you know, like
right.
You're like, I'll never be able to rest again. I'll just go back immediately to work.
Is this as good as it gets?
And, yeah, and I wasn't considering a life change where it was like, well, I can go back to work and just balance work and not work.
Right.
Because work is fun sometimes and very satisfying at other times. And sometimes it's hard, but like the reason I work is because I do enjoy it.
Oh God, yeah. And remember how we were talking about, because I went through something similar a couple of years ago, and we were just minor changes. Oh, blow these motherfuckers off the water. How would I put this? A lot of it was how I framed it in my mind. Because Game Grumps, it's hard work, and yet it's not work at all.
Yeah.
It's like play, you know? So it's both super fun and super draining, depending on how you let yourself approach it.
Mm-hmm.
And so in my calendar, I used to write work, you know, when we had to do Grumps episodes.
Yeah.
And just the act of changing the word work to play games with Arin made me feel different about it in my mind. It's really, really strange that
Yeah.
something that simple could have like such a profound effect.
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
There's just no blueprint for how to do something like this because so few people have this job. You know, we were talking about that with Jacksepticeye. Like, it's hard to relate to people. Or rather, it's hard for people to relate to what we do, unless they've done it themselves for a long period of time.
Right.
Because it's super fun. If you do it for a year, it's like endless fun. It's just super fun. If you do it for 5 years, there's gonna be some moments that have ups and downs because so much life happens in that stretch of time, you know? And like you still have to maintain not just like the exterior of someone enjoying themselves playing, you actually have to enjoy yourself or else you can't do it.
But so for me, right, like I'm trying to find my place again. It's so tough to to fucking throw a hat around and also
speak.
Yeah. We'll speak not and put sentences together. Good.
Noted.
But so my idea in my head of going back to work and being on break were these two fucking like binary states.
Right.
Of like, I am on break, I can rest, versus I am working all the time and doing this and I have no chance to be myself and do the things that I want to do, right? So that's where like the existential dread came from, where it was like time, the clock's a ticking for me to enjoy myself, and the pressure of me enjoying myself is making me even more depressed.
Oh god, dude, just think of that statement. The pressure to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
Like that is such a counterproductive oxymoron.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, these assholes.
Yeah,
again.
they're great. They're all well designed.
Never get tired of them.
I love how the one on the left and the one in the middle are just almost exactly the same. But yeah, so once I realized that, where it's like, oh, I can like take weekends off and actually fucking enjoy myself and like be like, I need time for myself today and like that kind of shit.
Right.
And also I'm in the position to be able to do that, right? Like at the end of the day, everything that I do is sort of self-inflicted. I'm in a place where like all I really have to do, you know, the bare minimum I have to do is fucking do Game Grumps once a week, you know?
Right.
The reason I'm so busy is because I decided to do all these other fucking things.
Right.
So to be able to tell myself, hey, I don't need to do that stuff today, it's a super valuable gift that I've been blessed with.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people that don't have that that freedom to be able to do that. It's just a shame that I inflicted the non-freedom onto myself mentally. I had to fight through that.
Yeah, it's a very normal human thing to do.
Yeah. Whereas most people want the least amount of work, I'm like subconsciously finding the most amount of work.
Right, right. Well, there's just so much like we want to do and like a limited amount of time to do it. And you know, we're ambitious people for sure. But underneath that is this more basic desire to just matter, you know? Like I'm really glad that Ninja Sex Party took off the way it did, you know, mostly because of Game Grumps. Whoa.
Those things are fucking dope.
Those things are crazy. Wow. I like them.
Shit, he got me.
Oof.
Where are they?
But yeah, more than anything, I was just grateful that anything I did took off because I just wanted to like make a difference in the world, you know? And granted, there are people that have made a much bigger difference in the world, but I mean, you could take that stance with anything, you know? There will always be someone who made a bigger impact than you, or...
Yeah.
It's a fool's errand to try to be the most anything in the world.
Yeah, for sure. And also, like, I've found, at least for me, that like the greater the scale, honestly, like the less satisfying it is.
The less you can relate to the difference you're making.
Yeah,
for sure.
Because, you know, if I can fucking like hold a door open for an old lady and she's like, "Oh my god," and smiles at me,
right?
That's fucking like I feel great for the rest of the day, right?
Right.
But if I just like, there's some announcement where it's like, "Wow, Game Grumps hit the top thing ever," or whatever. I'm like, wow, that's cool. Like, it's hard to comprehend that, and,
Dude,
and turn it into a feeling.
I recently rewatched that KTLA 5 thing they did on us. I don't know why, it just came up in like the thumbnails, and I was like, oh yeah, I haven't looked at this since it came out, and the number of views on our channel, that wasn't that long ago. That was only like a year and a half ago, something like that. The number of views on our channel, like, overall it's pretty close to doubled since then.
Really?
Yeah, it's insane.
Jeez.
But the numbers are so abstract that you can't wrap your head around what it possibly means, you know?
Yeah.
And it's very easy because the only other numbers that you can compare something like that to are other people who do what we do, you know? And there's plenty of people that are bigger than that. So it's easy to like fall into that trap where you're tricking yourself into thinking you're not actually making that much of a difference in people's lives.
Yeah. Well, even still,
even though like we're constantly getting messages from people saying exactly that.
Yeah.
Like you are making a difference, which is the fucking coolest.
But I also think like,
whoa, that's what that is.
Not that it's like lesser, but also like it does mean more to other people to have some kind of individual what's the word, involvement, I guess. What I mean by that is like we do get emails from people all the time saying you know, Game Grumps helped me in one way or another, which is awesome. When I help somebody in person, I feel like it or at least when I'm helped in person by somebody, it feels like much realer, and you know, it's like I don't want to downplay what other people are feeling in terms of being affected by the show. I guess I don't really have a greater point.
Oh boy,
I'm just trying to like refocus the value on like the day-to-day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Because really, like when I come into the office and I'm like, you're doing really good work or something to somebody, and they're just like, wow, that means a lot. Like that means a lot to me.
Yeah, sure. It's an actual human connection.
Yeah, as opposed to like, well, you know, I'm producing your project and I made it happen, and now it's a thing, and like I obviously put a lot of work into this myself and also a lot of my faith, and
sure,
like that's cool. But to me, it's not as cool as like looking somebody in the eye and like believing in them right in that moment, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
So that's sort of, I'm trying to shift my focus to more of that kind of stuff this year and in the future.
Yeah, just the more like primary relationships you have in your life, the better. Like, yeah. You know that term, right? Primary and secondary relationships.
I can guess what it means, but I've never heard that before.
I mean, it's been a long time since I've thought of this stuff, but something I learned in school, like, a secondary relationship would be a functional relationship that you have with someone, like the mailman, or like a waiter. That's a secondary relationship. Whereas a primary relationship is, you know, your friend, or something like that. But if you can turn your secondary relationships and get them to be a little bit more primary, whereas, you know, you go to the same restaurant a few times, see the waiter a bunch of times, ask him what his name is, you know, introduce yourself, and then, hey, it's no longer like the waiter, it's Dennis, you know, and
yeah.
Like, I've noticed that when I fill my life with like those types of things, like little shifts where, whoa, that's a big ass snow cone.
Yeah, man. Delicious too.
Yeah. If I move my life a little more towards like actually interacting with people on like a more human level, than I need something from you, you provide a service level, then the day is more rewarding.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that for sure. It's a lot tougher for me though, because I didn't come up in a social environment, so I have to put like a huge amount of effort into it.
Right. I remember you saying that. I remember you saying like, was it the nice coat episode of Mario Maker? But you were like, I can talk to people, no problem. I know exactly how to talk to people, but there's something about me, like the way I'm wired, that makes it difficult for social situations.
Yeah, and it's very strange because I feel like it's this. I mentioned this on a previous episode of Game Grumps, but it was you're the most extroverted introvert I've ever met.
Yeah, sure. I'm definitely a mixture.
And the more I think about me,
you're the most introverted extrovert.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Yeah.
people, you know, whatever it's worth, but people have defined being an extrovert and an introvert as like gathering energy from either a social or antisocial situation.
Right.
So an extrovert, in this case, gathers energy from being around people.
Right.
And I see us as the opposite of that, where being around people is sort of draining for you, and then you need time to recharge.
Even though I super love being around people.
Right.
Yeah.
But in my case, like, I get energy from being around people,
but
it's
you super
really
love being alone.
It's really difficult for me to be around people.
Yeah.
At times, because I'm just social anxiety or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. I think we're called ambiverts.
Ambiverts?
Yeah, which means just kind of somewhere in the middle. But yeah, you like the end result is the same, but we get there through the exact opposite routes.
Yeah.
Which is probably why we counter each other so well in a show like this, you know? Because we have the same perspective, but we come at it from completely different angles.
That's an interesting philosophy on it.
I mean, shit, like, we've spent enough time together. You gotta... there must be something that clicks with us.
There must be some way to fuck it.
There's gotta be some way to fuck each other. Hey, next time on Game Grumps.
Yeah.
I think... I feel good about this conversation. I think we'll get back to talking about the game, and we'll talk to this walrus, Jerry Garcia-looking dude with the beads in his beard.
Where's your ice cream, bro?
I don't know. Let's find out. Give yourself the benefit of the doubt.
I don't want to, Dan.
Do you remember the first time you saw the word doubt written out, and you were like, what the are you fucking serious? Doubt?
That sounds like a very singular situation that only you would know about because you had it.
I mean...
Very strange.
I definitely like
situation.
Had a bunch of words like that, like colonel. I was like, you gotta be fucking kidding. Yeah, colonel, colonel.
The only thing like that I can remember from my childhood, at least right now, is there was one day where I just couldn't remember how to spell the word of.
Of?
Yeah.
O-F?
Yeah. I was like,
it's UV, right? Yeah.
No, that doesn't make sense. What is it?
That's a ray. That's a type of ray.
UV. But I just remember like just being so frustrated with like, that's not how you spell it. How do you spell it? Like I was like 9 or something.
I've had moments like that.
And I knew it
Wednesday
was OF at some point, you know?
Yeah.
But for some reason that day I just completely forgot it.
It just didn't look right.
Yeah.
Dude, this actually made me cry when I was a kid. I forgot my mom's face one day.
Whoa.
Like, it was the weirdest fucking thing. Like, just one day at school, I was like, what does she look like? What does she look like? It was the weirdest.
Whoa.
And it's never happened before or after. But it was like the most upsetting, distressing moment of my childhood.
Wow, dude.
Yeah, heavier than I meant the conversation to go, but weird, right? Whoa! Damn, that's what it felt like. Just 1,000 cannons coming from the ceiling.
Assaulted by your butt. Well, that is something that's always terrified me, and it terrifies me whenever like something like it happens in my life where
you lose a very basic fact.
No, not even fact, but like function, or like there's something inside you that you're just like, I can't. Like, for example, when I get like really sick, I get plugged up by mucus, and there are times where there's just so much mucus that I can't breathe. And I'm like, if I don't figure this out in the next 3 seconds, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
Like, I really need to get this plug out, and the things that I'm doing right now aren't working.
Not being able to breathe is a horrible feeling.
Yeah.
It's part of the reason I quit pot smoking.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, this shit feels awful. Cause like, I was talking to my friend about this the other day. When I started smoking weed, like, it relieved anxiety and was super helpful. Then, by the time I quit, like, a few years later, like,
made you paranoid.
Yeah, my body chemistry had changed where it, like, caused anxiety. And I was like, this sucks. Yeah. So,
I've known a couple people like that who got really paranoid after doing pot for so long.
Yeah, it's very strange. So, like, every time I'd smoke, I'd get up in my head and I'd be like, oh, fuck, how do I breathe? And then I was like, God damn it, this isn't... What am I paying money for this for? So
That's
that
a very
was...
sober thought.
Yeah, yeah. So that was that, but, like, I don't know, just, yeah, basic... Oh, ho, ho, ho. Clever. Yeah, just the idea of, like, basic functions leaving you is very uncool.
I agree.
Nice. Nicely done.
I'm trying to think of another situation. Just like, or you know, like sleep paralysis is really terrifying.
It's never happened to me, but I'm sure it sucks.
Really?
Yeah.
You've never woken up halfway and then just been like, I want to scream or something. Not even in a dream?
Not that I can remember. Not that I can remember. My like, I've had dreams that fuck with me, but it's in a much different way.
Huh.
Yeah.
What's the most terrifying nightmare?
The most terrifying nightmare I've ever had?
Yeah.
Probably like death of a loved one. Those kinds of things.
Yeah.
I've had shark dreams. Yeah, those are... Yeah, actually, you know what? I did... It doesn't happen any... I wonder if this is, like, just like one of those deep, like, what are you supposed to be doing?
I think just surviving.
Oh.
These fireballs, yeah, blow up the bombs.
Oh.
That's it.
It actually hasn't happened since we had, like, our career breakthroughs. But, like, when I was... in the time of my life where I was like, I'm failing at everything, you know? I used to have, like, dreams all the time where I was, like, being chased by something.
Huh.
I don't even remember what I was being chased by, but just, like, on the run from something that was gonna catch me. Nice!
Yeah.
And that's my fear of sharks, too. Like...
being chased by a shark?
Yeah, just being chased by something that's, like, far more qualified than you to, like, be moving quickly at that moment.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
That's like the most primal fear ever.
Of course.
Being chased by something that's probably going to eat you.
Yeah. And then you're gonna be, like, converted into poo. I don't want to be poop. I especially don't want to be fish poop. That shit is, that shit is stringy.
Shark shit? Ugh.
God.
Shart?
No, I just finally learned to love my body. I don't want to be converted into shark poo.
And now I'm gonna be poopy? That's gonna take a long time to come to terms with.
I mean, I won't have much time to really think about it.
I don't know.
I don't know anything about that, Lind.
Oh boy.
Can I bet? Yeah, I can. Wow, this is fucking, this is bananas over here.
Pretty wild.
Oh, no,
wow.
he ate me!
You managed to get right in his mouth. Great job. Against all odds.
What if the piranha plant just like chewed on you and then was like, not great, but you're still dead?
Yeah.
So it's like not only did you die, but you totally went to waste as well.
Yeah. I don't think the Mario franchise as a whole has taken enough advantage of enemies spitting, regurgitating, blood-stained overalls. Like, just, ugh.
Somebody should do a mod, somebody probably has, of like...
violent Mario deaths?
Yeah, like a really happy Mario game, but then it has like Resident Evil 4 style deaths.
Yeah, I think Sunshine. I think Sunshine should get that treatment.
Sunshine?
Super Mario Sunshine.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's so pleasant.
Yeah. You're like just spitting water around and then all of a sudden just like the fluid shoots blood. Oh god, dude. Remember when we did Super Mario Sunshine?
Yeah.
It feels like a lifetime ago.
It really does.
That was my first really long series, I think.
I remember still recording episodes in my house.
Oh yeah, that was definitely your house days.
That was fucking it was. Oh my god, it was.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Sunshine was at my house.
Oh yeah.
And then Barry came in and cleared that stage.
Yes, he did.
Because he used to work in my living room.
The pachinko stage, yeah. We've come a long way, man.
Jesus Christ. Whoa.
Hey ho, hey, hey ho. Easy now. Was it 5 years ago or 6 years ago?
What?
How long have we known each other?
Shit, man, I don't fucking remember, dude.
2010. So going on 6 years.
Did I pick you up in the Mini Cooper?
I can't remember.
Because that's the only time I have. Because it was like Palmdale. I was living in Palmdale.
Yeah, you were living in Palmdale.
Jesus.
And I was living in Brooklyn. I was only visiting LA.
Oh wait, no, I think was I living in Palmdale when I first met you? Because I did have the Mini Cooper when I was in Burbank.
Well, that was the whoa, hey, yeah.
I gotta think about being your friend. That's what really does it for me.
Oh, that's very sweet. Doop doop.
God
Oh,
damn
that's really snug.
Oof. Yeah, that was the first car I actually bought myself. So
That's an amazing feeling.
Every car that I owned,
Your first car.
Every car that I owned was like my dad gave to me.
Right.
Because like he got a car that he like inherited from his uncle or something.
Yes.
Like a Buick.
A Buick.
And so he like gave me I think I had an Intrepid.
Right.
It's a really cheap, shitty car.
Was it?
And then I had like a Buick Mercury. I forgot what it was called.
I don't know. I'm not
Buick
a car
Century.
guy. Oh, a Buick Century. Yeah.
Yeah. It was a really shitty car.
Dude, that's what Chota Boy drives in Orgasmo.
Really?
Yeah. He's like, it's time to go to the Orgasmobile. My Buick Century.
Yeah, it was not a nice car. I think that's the one that ended up exploding.
Whoa. You had a car that exploded?
Yeah, it burst into flames. Anyway, well,
okay.
Yeah, the first car I ever drove was like a really, really used, beat up Mini Cooper.
Oh my god.
So I was like, Mini Cooper, that's my dream car. And then I got like a super used, super cheap, shitty Mini Cooper that was more expensive to keep up. That I had to get rid of it because it was so expensive to keep up.
Yeah.
And I got like a really, really cheap model other car after that. And I was broke when I did that, so it was like, oh god, what am I gonna do?
Oh god. Yeah, I know that feeling.
It's like you gotta own a car.
When I lived in Jersey, I had the Smokemobile, which was my dad's Ford Explorer. It was not the Smokemobile when he drove it, but it quickly became the Smokemobile once me and my blunt rolling friends got a hold of that bitch.
Oh, that's why it was called the Smokemobile.
Oh man, there was not one day that car was not hotboxed. It's just so I honestly have no memories of that car when it was not like filled with smoke. It's so embarrassing. But yeah, like, same thing. Just check engine light on for like 2 years, and it got to the point where like I brought it into the Ford guys, and I was like, "What do you recommend I do?" And because I don't really have the money to fix all this, they were like, "Oh, it's easy. It's easy. You take a black piece of electrical tape." And you put it over the check engine light. It's like, I was like, all right, I'll try it. And it fucking worked. You never worry about that shit again.
Wow.
And I was like, what's wrong with the car? And they're like, we don't know. You need money for us to tell you that. So they were cool, those guys.
Wow.
Yeah. Pretty honest.
Yeah, just the other day I was driving to fucking Carlsbad, which is like two and a half
really
hours.
Far, yeah.
And then like right when I got in like the really like hard part of LA, like where the roads are really shitty and like,
yeah.
I don't know the area at all.
There's some grimy LA for sure.
I got a fucking flat tire and I was like, ah, Jesus.
That's scary.
And I just didn't know the area at all and I'm like, I'm scared. And then like I got off the exit and literally every single shop on that whole exit was like car shops. And I was like,
really?
Cool. And I just like pulled into a tire shop and they were like, $35.
Oh, it's awesome.
And I was like, sweet.
I'm sure a lot of them were chop shops, dude.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like that's how they make muns, huns.
But they were really nice. They like just they were like, oh yeah, we have this wheel. And
scary neighborhoods are very misleading, in a sense, because yes, they are scary. Yes, there are people there that will kill you. And also, there are tons of fucking super nice people.
Yeah.
Like I lived in some very shady places when I lived in Philly, and I mean like even the guys who would like call me Cracker, like they were super nice. Like I mean once they got to know me. They're like, "What's up, Cracker?" I was like, "Hi guys." Like,
hello.
Hi. Because I didn't know what to do at first and I was scared.
I just love how taunting it is. It's like not so easy.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit. Well, that's not so easy.
When we we had an au pair when I was a little kid. Do you know what that is?
No.
I don't know the exact definition, but it's like
in the shape of an O.
no au pair, like AUPAIR. I think it's like a
French pear.
something like that. I don't know if it's exact. I don't know if this is the right definition, but like it was like a 20-year-old girl that like lived with us, like sort of as an exchange student, and just like stayed and lived with my family for a little bit.
She mooched and
She was from Holland. She was fucking awesome.
ate all your food.
Named Lise, and she was staying with another woman who was like mistreating her and being like a bitch. And we were like, "Hey, Lise, how you doing?" And she was like, "Not so good." It was like the sweetest, saddest thing. So we took her in, and she became our au pair. And I was like 8 at the time, and I had a super huge crush on her.
Oh yeah, I bet.
Yeah, she was like a beautiful blonde girl that was like 22, and I'm 8, and I'm just like, ah, this is a bread I have yet to taste.
Yeah, and she was probably like really nice to you,
Super nice.
and like made you snacks and shit, and you're like,
yeah, we're still friends today. I love your snacks. Yeah, it's incredible. She's a mom now, but
wait, so she's like 50 now?
yeah, she'd be like in her mid to late 40s.
Wow, dude,
Isn't that wild?
that's cool.
All I remember,
What a legacy.
one thing I do remember about like meeting her was that like, you know when you're like a kid and you like someone and you don't even know what to do, so you just like fucking throw your body like in a crazy way. Like I remember meeting her for the first time, and it was like a snowy day in New Jersey, and my mom was like, "Dan, this is Lise," and I was like, "Hi, Lise, bye," and then like I just like ran and took a flying leap into the snow, like face planted, because I didn't know what to do. I just freaked out. I was like, "You're too pretty, and I can't deal."
Okay, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
It's like you just want some reason to impress her.
Yeah, but you have no idea how to impress someone like that, so you're just like, "I'll just call attention to myself in any way."
Mushroom adventure.
Yeah.
Speedrun. I'll just
I'll take you on a mushroom adventure.
I'm impressive. See? Yeah, I've done that before. I had a crush on a couple girls.
It's like that Eddie Izzard skit where, I mean, I'll butcher this because I haven't heard it in like 10 years, but he's talking about like the difference with guys, with like young boys, like when they meet a girl they like, and he's like, in my head, I'm like, "Good day, Susan. I couldn't help noticing the way the sunlight plays off your hair and your oceanic hazel eyes, and I just want you to know that I fancy you." You know? But meanwhile, when you actually meet her, you're like, "Hello, Sue. Do you like bread?" It's so fucking true.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's whoa, what the fuck is happening
That
here?
looks slidey.
Is there a conveyor belt underneath these pipes?
Whoa.
I think there is. Oh shit, dude.
Whoa.
Well, that's difficile, dude.
Yeah, why? Yeah, you gotta go the other way.
It's difficile.
It's difficile.
Yeah, there was a ton of girls. I remember there was this one girl who, my brother did baseball, and then one of his teammates' sisters was like my age, and she was real cute. This is a fucking, like, I was like 8 or something.
Sure.
And I would see her on the playground, and like, I was just like, "Oh, she's so cute. Oh, I want to make her mine."
I want to make her mine.
Yeah. And then we were playing tag.
Oh, shit.
That's why it's called speedrun.
Oh, that's right.
We were playing tag, and then she.
Funny how we never noticed the fucking go, go, go music, like right at the beginning.
We were playing tag, and she tagged me, and I just like stopped dead in my tracks. It was just like
human contact from a hot girl.
I mean, the fucking 8-year-old equivalent of hot girl. She was just like,
"Oh, dude, it doesn't matter." Like,
she's pretty, I guess.
Yeah, the 8-year-old equivalent is the hottest equivalent ever because, like, oh,
it like sets your standard for the rest of your days.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you're just like, when you're a kid, you have no reality to go on with like romance and stuff, so it's all fantasy, you know? And that kind of makes it more like intense in a weird way.
Never thought about that.
Yeah.
You really do have nothing to go on, whereas when you're older, you have like a crippling sense of like
This is just gonna end in horror and shame.
There is no love without pain.
Why would I fancy this woman when I know it'll just end poorly?
I fancy you.
You fucking sick hot blorp.
Blorp. Gonna get some blorp tonight. Oh, hey, you'll appreciate this. While I was hanging out with my family, I was telling my dad about, like, I shave with a straight razor now. Like, I used to use electric razors and stuff, but, like, I like the, this isn't interesting, but I like the ritual of, like, you know, using the horsetail brush and all that, and the single blade and whatever. So I was like, yeah, Avi, I use the single blade now. Gotta take care of the moneymaker, my face. And he was like, yeah, you gotta take the money shot. And I'm like, no, that's not what that means, Avi. I think he meant like pictures that like are really great and they like get you a lot of cash. Like, no, father. He's like, why? What does it mean? I was like, I'll tell you later.
Money shot.
You gotta take the money shot.
That's funny because I'm sort of the same way. I got a really nice electric razor, which is, I guess, is the opposite, but like
right. But still, like, just the idea of like as you get older, you like to take your time with it more.
Yeah, well, so that's what it is, right? So it's an electric razor. Oh, fucking God, why is this so difficult for me?
I don't know.
It's an electric razor, and like because it has like all these different moving parts, and it has to be like oiled,
right,
and like cleaned every time you use it.
Yeah,
it's not, you can't just go like all right and put it back in the fucking thing.
Totally.
So like whenever I shave, it's like a thing. I have to oil it up, like take it apart, oil it up,
yep, and
then shave, and then do the the shave, and then clean it, and then re-oil it, and then put it away.
I think it's part of it is that like you're taking like 10 minutes of time to just do something for yourself. You know, I think that's really what it is. Oh no! Why?
God.
Why so far?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what it is like mentally about this, but it's like really difficult for me.
Huh.
Anyway, yeah, there is something about it, like taking your time with something for you.
Yeah.
Like I wake up in the morning and I work out, and then I have breakfast. And when I make the breakfast, I just like make the shit out of those fucking eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And I like cook that bacon, and I don't listen to music or anything.
Right.
I just do it and
just
enjoy
quiet
it.
time.
Yeah.
Quiet time where you turn off your brain. It's pretty sweet.
And then I go take a shower, and then I have to, when I was a kid, right, we had to like spray the shower, and I never did it because I hated it.
Right.
But now, I sort of enjoy it a little bit, because it's like, I don't know. It's like a little moment that you have to do every day, and you just do it, and enjoy for what it is.
Oh, boy. Yeah.
I get full coverage of the shower. Anyway... So, I'm, like, horribly boring, and is what I'm getting at.
That's the second time in this session where you've been like, I am boring. This is boring. Like, no, I think it's interesting.
That's my life, dude.
I like talking to you.
Well, it's also just because it's, like, when I'm explaining something that's, like, inherently boring, and I'm trying to make it, like, kind of interesting.
Right.
It's like, I'm also playing Mario.
Right.
So I'm just kind of like...
Your brain is in two places at once.
And then
I think you might be better off just getting the raccoon tail and not even dealing with the boot.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to do, but I lost it.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, you're right. I think you're right, at least.
Let's try that.
I'm gonna try your strat. Your sick, nasty, dirty strat.
Please. Can't wait till I get some hot strat later. Hot, nasty strat.
Oh, man. My dad got me a guitar a long time ago. But he didn't get it for me, he had one.
Okay.
And he gave it to me. So it was kind of like oh, thank you, Dad. Wow.
Thank you,
My father gave me a guitar.
Right.
I will cherish this forever. And its name is Peggy.
Yay!
And I'm very excited to play it.
Yeah, as you should be.
And learn to play. I used to learn to play when I was like 18. And I could play like a couple really easy songs, but I want to get into it.
Do it.
Play some guitar.
Play some fucking guitar.
Maybe you and I
a
can...
checkpoint. Oh no. Oh, okay.
Maybe you and I can
jam out
to get together, yeah.
With our clams out.
Play some bass.
I'd love that.
You play bass, I play guitar.
I do play a little bass. Not well, but I do enjoy it.
All of it, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Dude, I took fucking after-school classes.
Did you?
It was the most fun of my life.
Really?
Yeah, because, like, there's this weird, like...
You need to have more fun.
What?
That should not be the most fun of your life.
No. Here's why it was fun. Because, I didn't care. So...
Oh, yeah.
Well, because I was... Here's the thing, I didn't do my work, and the after-school classes are not made for the fucking, like, I was in, like, the gifted program.
Yes.
So it was, like, a lot harder. And the after-school classes were not made for the gifted kids.
What did they call your gifted program?
They just called it the gifted program.
Oh, so douchey.
I know, right?
Oh, damn it.
I don't, like, I didn't think about it back then. I was just like, yeah, I'm gifted. And then, and then later I was like, oh my god.
Well, I knew that it was
I
bullshit.
can't believe I was saying that shit.
Because, like, they made us take the test for it, like, in first grade. And the test was literally just facts. Just, like, shit, like, that you may or may not have happened to know. And, so, like, a bunch of us, like, did it. Like, my whole group of friends, we were nerdy kids, so we all knew a bunch of facts.
Yeah.
So we did okay. But my friend Adam, whoa, that's huge! Fuck, man.
Yeah, I gotta watch out for the twirly fireball ones.
God damn. Yeah, but my friend Adam, was, like, one question short. So if he knew that, sand was the main ingredient of glass, he would have been gifted.
Oh.
Yeah, but he didn't, so he wasn't gifted.
And
that made, like, all of us be like, this might be fucking stupid.
It wasn't, for me, it was like one of those, like, cognitive tests. They gave you, like, a bunch of fucking games and math stuff and all that crap.
Jesus Christ, that's scary.
Like, figuring out things.
Yeah.
So,
that's what it should be, I guess. Ours was called Discovery.
You discovered that you're way better than all these other fucking kids.
I mean, it did make you feel special at the time, but, like, in retrospect...
Shit, I did the same fucking
like,
thing.
The exact same thing.
didn't... It's fucking orange, and that shit's red. It's bullshit. Game over!
Oh, no.
I didn't get enough one-mans, dude!
Oh, no.
It's all up to you.
Oh, no.
You got 2 lives.
That's not good.
You got 2 mans. You're on world 5.
Oh.
You're on world 5.
Dork.
Fucking non-gifted kid.
Dork.
No, but like I was saying about summer school, I didn't give a shit about fucking school, so I went to after school.
No!
I went to the after school classes. Yep. They were not made for the gifted kids, so it was like a fucking breeze. Like I already knew everything, so I was just like, oh, I'll do these tests and then I'll goof off for the next fucking. And it was really fun.
Well, like a lot of times, school was the most fun when you didn't take it seriously. Because I did not much care for college, frankly. I had a kind of a bad time.
Nice.
And for various reasons, but I just didn't like Boston and a bunch of things. Wait, I just remembered my most embarrassing moment.
Okay, go for it.
I farted in class once.
That's awesome.
It was not awesome.
Why?
It was incredibly embarrassing.
Why?
Just because it wasn't like a bad one. It was just a quick, like little, like, but it was loud. It was sharp, and everyone heard it. And like I shot up because I was like bending over to get something, and I snapped to attention super fast. I was like, oh fuck, and then just like everyone starts laughing uncontrollably, and like I got that like hot wash of shame and embarrassment like across my face and body, and
dude, I would have been fucking proud.
Oh, I was not proud. I was humiliated, and of course the girl I had a crush on was like laughing and all that blah blah blah. And,
yeah.
Nice!
Fuck yeah!
Great job.
You're a piece of shit, you fucking stupid dumbass! The pillars and between the holes, just baiting me into falling in there, and in the black abyss, where do I even go? Do I go to Kentucky?
And the teacher in the class, he didn't know what had happened. He just saw that I was the center of, like, a lot of laughter. And then he was yelling at me for, like, disrupting the class. I know. So, like, I'm already, like, on the verge of tears because, like, I've lost the respect of all of my peers, and now I'm getting yelled at. It was...
What a shit sucker.
It was a rough day, man.
Dude.
Rough day at social studies.